Bam. My peoples. My peoples. Today's Friday. Happy Friday to everyone who's tuning in or who's gonna tune in. Yesterday, on Thursday, there was a little misunderstanding between Devin Haney and Brian Norman Jr.'s camps. Little scuffle, something light, nothing big. But it seemed like that was unnecessary, I would say. Panty sniffer, yo, we up now. Bam, panty sniffer, what's the deal? Did you see what went down between Brian Norman Jr. and Devin Haney yesterday? Funny, man. It was just a funny situation. That's how I'm gonna start it off. First to hit the like. Stop playing with me. Ooh, boom. Appreciate it, my G. Panty sniffers in the building, making the presence felt. I know, my brother. You never duck that light. You never duck. Stanley Reed, what's good, family? So, Brian Norman Jr., Devin Haney, they had a little scuffle yesterday. We're gonna discuss that situation. But you guys already know what it is, man. This is Boxing for Breakfast, where you get your healthy dosage of sweet science early in the morning, my peoples. I'm Jay Smith. Let's get it, y'all. Let's get it. People start tuning in. We're going to get this smoke this morning. Because this whole situation with Devin and Norman Jr., it's getting real spicy. And the fight's way in November. And it's already getting spicy like this, my people. It's looking like, I don't know, man. I don't know. People have this expectations like Devin Haney's just going to run. And he's been working on that power, my people. Devin Haney has been working on that power. I see him working with Roy Jones Jr. I see him working, with different trainers. I think, this is not going to be the type of fight where, how we saw Devin Haney, for example, with Jose Ramirez, where we saw a lot of footwork and people want to call it running. I think it's going to be it might be a different type of fight. It might be more similar to when we saw Devin Haney fight Vasyl Lomachenko. It might be closer to that. I've seen it. Devin was acting hard around his dad. Panty sniffer. Devin is a character, bro. I swear. Haney be making some characters. I mean, they selling the fight. But I got to tell you what, my G. And we're going to bring that up later when there's a few more people in the chat. But Devin Haney's team, they wildin'. His security, he wildin'. Like to have Brian Norman Jr. looking like Beavis with his shirt over his head. Like, what are you doing, bro? Like, security wildin' out. That's two world champions, bro. You're being mad disrespectful. If you see them going at it, stay your goofy ass out of the way. Plus, Brian Norman Jr. can knock you out with one shot, sleep. Don't get it twisted, Mr. Security. Come on now. But Devin Haney's team, his security guard, he out there acting like a goon. Like, how you grabbing somebody like that? Pulling their shirt up and all that. Nasty work. I'm glad that Brian Norman Jr., he's a class act. So he wasn't going to overreact or make it worse. Escalate the situation. So, little tiny scuffle. It could have gotten worse. So, Devin, his pops, they got to talk with homeboy. Like, my mans, sometimes you just got to get out the way and shut up and don't touch nobody. Can't be touching people like that. Look, what Devin's security should have did in that case, if he felt like something might go down, he should have got in between them. Or pull his client away to avoid any altercation. But you go grabbing the next man, you wildin'. That could have been... If Norman Jr. was walking around with goons or with his own team, it could have been a lot worse than what we saw. I don't know if Norman Jr. was just with his pops or who else was there, but still, I'm glad that at the end of the day, It ended right there. Nothing. Because I'm telling you, a situation like that, a fight could break out, and before you know it, we don't got to fight anymore. That's it. Somebody's in trouble, somebody got hurt, all type of situations can happen. Panty sniffer, security be making it look historical moment. Yo, security guard was wilding out, man. You know damn well that's two fighters right there selling a fight. What is you doing? Stay your goofy ass out the way. Stay your goofy ass out the way. What are you doing? Security guard, he want to be a main character and shit. Come on, bro. Nah, security guard. Sorry, my brother, but you're an NPC in this game. So play your NPC role in that stage, buddy. John Parham. Norman was smiling the whole time. Yeah, them people wasn't phasing him. You know, Cena just had arm surgery, so he couldn't do much. Yeah. He couldn't move around. You know, mess around. That surgery goes south. But still, man, I think Devin Haney's security overreacted. Like, you don't need to grab somebody by the shirt that way. That's crazy. Muhammad Rafiq, I am from India. Salute, my brother. Appreciate you dropping in, man. We're talking about Brian Norman Jr., Devin Haney. And listen, Norman Jr. was in Devin Haney's face telling him, I'm going to knock you out. Straight up, he told him, I'm going to knock you out. I'm going to still sleep him. He feel confident. John Parham, they definitely just raised the stakes in that fight. They got interesting, man. They got interesting. Once you see things start getting physical and altercations and all, if you think about it, man, this fight is way in November. Oh, and we're already gotten physical and back and forth like that. This friction is only gonna build up. So, I'm telling you, from here to then, we're gonna see a lot more. They're gonna have to do some. Think about it. This wasn't even a face-off. This wasn't even a face-off. Imagine when they start facing off regularly and it's getting closer to fight and they've been cutting weight. Man, listen. Panty sniffer. There's no way Brian will win, bro. I got my boy Devin winning by UD and giving a good fight. I believe it's going to be a good fight, but I'm not counting Brian Norman Jr. out. If anything, he might even be the favorite. Right now, man, listen. Until further notice, Brian Norman Jr. is the man in the division. Until further notice. John Parham. Either way, it will be a good fight for sure. Raw dog. Devin is going to get hurt. John Parham. It's personal now. You know, when fighters are in that situation that they already going back and forth and they already pushing each other, shoving and cursing each other out, it's going to be different. That's it. Now we really actually don't like each other. And now imagine when they already start that process of cutting weight and you know, well, I'm saying you know, but a lot of people know this. When fighters are cutting weight and they're getting closer and closer, they're in a bad mood. You know, they chippy. And, you know, to face off with each other while you have that type of energy, we're going to see it. We're going to see it escalate. And Brian Norman Jr. told Devin to his face, I'm going to knock you out. They asked him, what happened? What happened? He's like, nah, you know, they overreacted. I'm going to still sleep him, though. Still sleeping him. John Parham. It's crazy how at first it was all cool the first time they talked face to face that night. And the second time it went left. Yeah, but if you think about it, it went left because of Devin Haney and his team. And why I say that, because you can see that Norman Jr., his intentions was just to talk. Just to, let's have a friendly exchange. Let the cameras do their thing. And let's do what we do. Let's sell this fight. And, you know, Devin's security guard, you know, non-playable character-ass motherfucker wanted to be part of the movie. John Parham, hit the like. Hell yeah, my peoples. Hit that like button. Do not hesitate. Raw dog. If Devin thought Ryan left was strong, imagine a real strong, true 147-pounder. Listen, bro. Brian Norman Jr., we saw his last knockout, how explosive it was. Quite brutal, if you ask me. So, Devin Haney, he's got to be on point. He has to have one of those game plans where you don't get hit with that main shot. That shot that's going to stun you, you avoid it the whole fight. And it's tough to do that. Think of Lamont Roach versus Tank Davis. He was able to avoid that finishing shot for 12 rounds. And Tank tried it. Don't get it twisted. If you honestly watch the fight, you know that Tank tried that counter left. Just couldn't land it. And when it did land, it was either, blocked partially or didn't land flush. Roach was slipping. So Devin Haney has to have that type of fight. With a big punch, it never lands. John Parham, Bill with the BS. Hey, you know Bill Haney. You got to sell the fight. You got to do him. But damn, you can't have your security guard acting like a goon. Like these people, I'm disappointed when I saw that because Devin Haney and Bill Haney, they could trash talk, they do all that, but they are professionals. They behave like professionals in certain settings. And Brian Norman Jr. and his pops, they class act. So to see somebody, a security guard, acting like a goon, putting their hands on the champion, that's crazy work. I ain't appreciate that. Panty Sniffer, the clown who hit Norman and cut his shirt, needs to be fired. He did too much. I agree. He wildin'. Like, why you putting your hands on that man like that? You wildin'. He treated Brian Norman Jr. like that was a fan. Like that was some fan approaching Devin Haney. You wildin' out, bro. That's a world champion. What are you doing? So the security guard, obviously he overreacted. That's what I'm saying. You're a non-playable character. You want to be part of the movie. Insert yourself and put your hands on the... First of all, Brian Norman Jr. could sleep buddy with one shot. Don't get it twisted. One shot, you go to bed. Without gloves, bang, you going to sleep. Brutally. So you putting your hands on the wrong dude. But thankfully, Brian Norman Jr. is a real calm dude, real laid back. Yeah, he grabbed the dude, took him off of him. You ain't gonna sun me. But he handled it with grace. This situation could have got a lot worse. A lot. Imagine if Brian Norman Jr. and his pops would have been with 4 or 5 goons right there. It would have went down. Mess around, we wasn't having a fight no more in November because of what would have went down right there. So, homeboy did way too much. John Parham, I thought it just ripped when he pulled it. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. When he pulled it, it ripped. But, like, what are you doing, bro? Like, he inserted himself in an unnecessary way. I would say, if they don't fire him, they got to demote him. Like, you're the security guard that just opening doors and closing doors. You outside. You're doing stuff over there. You're not the guy that's over here with us because you don't know how to act in front of world champions. John Parham, I don't see nobody getting fired. Maybe a possible fine, if that is even possible. No, that is possible. If you hire somebody privately, you could impose a fine for sure. That's got to be in the contract, of course. But there's got to be some repercussions because you don't act like that. That's crazy work. If you think about it, Devin Haney and Brian Norman Jr., what they was doing was promoting the fight. That's what fighters do. We're going to fight. We have a scheduled, event where we run into each other. We're going to go at it. We're going to, a little chirping here and there. And we might, a little shoving around. But what's going down at that very moment is a one-on-one interaction. It's just Devin, Brian Norman Jr. Why is you inserting yourself in this? What are you doing? You're a non-playable character, buddy. You're supposed to stand there and not do anything. But hopefully somebody, sat buddy down like, bro, We wasn't dealing with fans. We wasn't dealing with hooligans messing around. We trying to sell a fight over here. What you trying to sell? What you trying to do? You trying to be a star? Raw dog. It'll show that security was immature. Yeah, bro. Way. It's like, even from the moment they approached each other, you could see the security on the left. It's almost like he was waiting for a reason to be part of the show. John Parham. Cena was joking around about maybe he should pull a Haney move and sue. Karen Seymour pissed than everyone yelling, what the fuck? Who's Karen? Karen? But, listen, man, I'm going to tell you what. At the end of the day, this whole interaction, it wasn't a good look for Devin and his pops, because that's yo mans in them who acting funny. That's yo security team putting hands on a world champion. Come on, man. Come on, man. My peoples, y'all know this is Boxing for Breakfast, where you get your healthy dosage of sweet science early in the morning. Hit that like button, man. Some of y'all ducking that like the same way Tank Davis is ducking Shakur. Stop playing with me. And we got these fights coming up. By the way, Manny Pacquiao, I seen a training video. Yo, he's looking real good, my peoples. Manny Pacquiao's looking good. Don't sleep on the old man. I see a lot of y'all talking about, nah, Manny's too old. Barrios is going to knock him out and all that stuff. Y'all sleeping. Y'all sleeping on the Pac-Man. John Parham. Oh, no. Karen Seymour Pace. I don't know who you was talking about when you said Karen Seymour Pace. Raw dog. That bitch soft. I promise. He not going to win without some jab and grab. Jab and grab. Come on, bro. I mean, I don't know what fight Devin is going to fight. Because remember, the way that he beat Jose Ramirez is not the same way that he beat Vasyl Lomachenko. Right? So we got to see what type of style he's going to fight. Raw dog. That been so... Oh, no. John Parham. The white lady that was also trying to break it up. If you watch it again, she is pissed, yelling at the top of her lungs. Oh, she was the one. I saw it, but I didn't realize she was the one yelling. John Parham. I got Pac winning. Look, man. I haven't made a prediction on that fight, but I'm kind of leaning towards Manny Pacquiao. Just because he's done so much, he's accomplished so much. We've counted him out multiple times, and it seems like this guy can do it. He got what it takes. You know, styles make fights. Is he going to be able to get past Barrios' reach? I think that's going to be the toughest part for Manny. Because remember, he's a lot older. Now, when I watch him training, he looks fast. I see him, okay, he looks fast. But there's a big difference between how you look when you're training. For example, if you're shadowing, if you're hitting the bag, how you look when you're doing those things on your own versus when you're fighting with an elite level fighter that's trying to knock your head off. Oh, that, you ain't gonna be doing all that, buddy. So I'm wondering, how is Manny Pacquiao gonna be able to adapt to the size difference at his age? Because Barrios is gonna have a huge reach advantage. You see, this is something that I always try to tell people too, my peoples. El fantasma de Geraldo Ledén. What's the deal, my brother? Bam. When it comes to Manny Pacquiao, being 46 years old, you're probably going to see the reach disadvantage be a factor if he loses this fight. And I say that because you guys, or at least some fans, won't acknowledge that Terrence Crawford's reach is going to be a factor versus Canelo. Yes, those are two whole different fighters. But my point is that fans underestimate the significance of reach advantage. If Barrio wins this fight, That reach advantage is going to be a big factor. Watch. So all I'm saying is, you're gonna see a guy who has reach over his opponent use it to ultimately get the victory. And I'm not making a prediction. I'm saying if Barrio wins, reach is going to be a factor, my people. That's all I'm saying. If Manny Pacquiao wins, that means we're at 46 years old. As crazy as it may sound, we're gonna see a fast Manny Pacquiao who's able to make him miss and make him pay, who's able to work his way on the inside without taking too much damage. Let's see. Let's see if at 46 years old, Manny Pacquiao can pull it off. It's a tough task, my people, for real. It's a real tough task. Raw dog. In my opinion, Dev is not elite. Oscar De La Hoya would have iced him in 6. I disagree with you, Raw dog. And we just have to highlight 2 wins in his resume. Vasil Lomachenko, Regis Progress. If you're not elite, you're not beating those guys. The average Joe is not beating those guys, my brother. So he's without a doubt elite. Not just because he beat those 2. You look at the resume. He's gotten a lot of real good wins. Linares is a quality win. You have to see that. And he has a bunch others. So, yes, my guy, I'm telling you. Devin Haney, without a shred of doubt, if you ask 100 boxers, 100 trainers, 100 coaches, is Devin Haney an elite level fighter? They'll all say yes. There you have it. That's your answer right there. You ask that group of people, they're all going to say, hell yeah. Raw dog, Bernal Forrest would have taken his soul. But that's an assumption because Bernal Forrest got beat up by Mayorga. That's what you're not seeing, that styles make fights. Mayorga put the beats on Forrest twice. Stopped him. Now what? And Haney washes Mayorga, dances circles around him. Dances circles around him. You know, you're making an assumption about what would happen if that fight took place. But we really don't know. Making an assumption of what happened with this fighter, if he fought with that fighter from back in the day, we really don't know. John Parham, Dev a lot better than people give credit. I mean, I'll rephrase that for you, John Parham. Dev is a lot better than boxing fans give credit to. And I say that because people involved in boxing have Devin at the top. You know, like there's a group of fighters that they're the creme de la creme. Devin Haney's one of those guys that are at the top. So, there's going to be fans that have their opinion about him, but Devin's one of them, for sure. John Parham, I'm not a Dev fan, but give him his flowers. I think the situation with Devin Haney is that people don't like his style of boxing. They don't like that in many fights he uses a lot of footwork. He's very defensive-minded. And they don't like that. It's the same situation with Shakur. It's the same deal. They wanna see them engage. They want to see them get hit more. They want to see them go through adversity where they get dropped and have to come back from that. Or where they got an eye nearly shut and they're fighting through it. But you're not gonna see them in that situation because they're that good. They're that special. That's just the reality. Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney, as far as their defense goes, they're masters. People who say that they run is because they simply don't like that style of boxing. That's all. That's what that really is about. Raw dog, I've watched boxing 40 plus years. Dev is a facade. Bro, watching boxing for 40 years just means that you watched a lot of boxing. That's it. Watching boxing for 40 years means that you watched a lot of boxing. That's it. It doesn't really mean anything else, my brother. John Parham. Now, Are you gonna compare your opinion because you watched boxing for 40 years to that of a fighter, or to that of a trainer, or to that of a coach? So I'm telling you, my guy, if you ask the people in boxing, they'll all tell you Devin Haney is elite amongst the elite. Watching it on TV just says that you've seen it a lot. John Parham, if Dev Tank power, he would be scary. Oh, damn, if Devin Haney had Tank Davis power, bro, wow, that would be insane. Raw Dog, Loma at 135 is not legend at 147. I don't know why is that even irrelevant. Loma and Devin Haney both fought at 135, where Devin Haney was the undisputed champion. I'm not sure why you're bringing up 147. 147 is a division that Devin Haney now moved up to try to conquer. But as you may be aware of, Devin Haney's a 135 division champion and a 140 division champion. And now looking to become a 147 champion. So, damn, a multi-division champion? Like, you're only focusing on 147? That's it? You erased that Devin Haney is a multi-division champion, an undisputed champion, and currently a reigning champion at 140? You erased all of his accomplishments to say that he's not elite? Come on, bro. Can you tell me how many undisputed champions you know that's not elite? And not a true 135. The thing about that, Raw Dog, is that you're injecting your opinion. I say that he was 135 when he was supposed to be 135. And I'm a fighter. Now, if you regard your opinion over mine, cool. But I'm a fighter. You watch boxing on TV. Not a true 135. Who says that? I don't know who says that. But yes, he was a true 135. He grew out of it. So you're wrong about that. And you're injecting your opinion to say that he's not elite. Come on now, bro. Listen, instead of coming up with all those logics, which are horrible because you haven't put together a good logic to say that he's not elite, it's easy for you to just say, I don't like Devin Haney. I don't like his style of boxing, and I don't like him. That's a lot easier than coming up with all these things that are pretty much incoherent. Saying that he's not a true 135 pounder is pretty much incoherent when he became undisputed champion in the division. Like, come on now. You're not a true 135 pounder, but became an undisputed champion in that division where you went down in history. You're in the history book as the youngest undisputed champion in that division. You're recorded forever in that division, but you're not a true 135 pounder. Come on, bro. Come on. That's a horrible opinion. But you can have that opinion because you watched a lot of boxing on TV. So you're like, yeah, I got a good opinion. That's not a good opinion. You're going to be in a lonely island saying that Devin Haney is not elite. El fantasma de Geraldo Ledén. So if I bring up Tito Trinidad, I take it a step higher from Forrest or Mayorga. Oh, man, Tito Trinidad. Damn. I'm saying you're saying Tito Trinidad versus Devin Haney? Nah, I got Tito Trinidad winning that fight by knockout. By brutal knockout. Look, Trinidad never lost a single fight in the welterweight division. And in my opinion, he's arguably the best welterweight fighter of all time. In my opinion. You think about it, he had to move up multiple times to finally lose. I think didn't he lose to Hopkins at 160? Think about it. For most of his career at 147, moved up to 154 and absolutely pummeled, battered, put the Dre, Swiss, and Apple beats on undefeated Olympic gold medalist David Reed. And Trinidad, just his power, even at 154, he had David Reed dancing salsa. So Tito Trinidad, man, I got all the respect for him in the world, man. He a great fighter. And it's hard, it's very tough for me to pick somebody beating him, bro, for real. Very, very tough. There's people that I could say it could go either way, but very few could mess with Trinidad at the welterweight division. Vic G, Serrano by stoppage tonight. Whoa, you got Serrano winning by stoppage? That's how you doing it these days? Whoa. Look, I'm going to tell you like this. I'm actually expecting the fight to go the distance. And if you saw the first two fight, we already know, very competitive. Hector, what's the deal, my brother? Bam. You know, it was very competitive. They went back and forth, landed nasty shots on each other. I believe this fight is going to be similar to the first two. It's kind of like, that's why I tell people, man, you have to tune in to women's boxing, man. That's it. The days of, oh, I don't watch women's boxing because it's whack, it's boring. Those days are over, my peoples. Women's boxing is on fire. We're getting some serious fireworks from the ladies. Some technicality, yo, women, boxing is sweet when it comes to women's boxing. Trying to tell you. So, in this fight, think about Dmitry Bivol and Arthur Beterbiev. They already had two fights. How they went back and forth. Now they're going to have a third one. This fight is similar to that. If you enjoyed Dmitry Bivol, Arthur Beterbiev, the first and the second one, the way that they went to war, well, guess what? Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor went to war just like that in the first and the second one. And the third one is coming up. It's going to be serious, my people. The action is going to be serious. My brother Vic G got Serrano winning by stoppage. I don't know what's going to happen, man. I don't know if I can make a prediction for this fight, man. But, by the way, definitely tune in tonight. Fight night with Jay Smith. I'm going to be calling the shots. I'm going to be calling the fight. I'm going to be calling the fight. So y'all going to hear the famous devastating blow, ladies and gentlemen. That was a devastating blow. I don't even know how many times I'm going to have to say it with these two ladies. Kenneth Harvin. Devin doesn't have a chin, so he's at risk against anyone he fights, just Amir Khan was. I don't think that's a fair assessment, and I'm going to tell you why. Right now, if you think about it, the only time Devin has been sat down has been against a fighter who tested positive for steroids. So those punches that sat Devin down, anybody will sit down with those. Anybody's going to have to take a seat. In fact, most people wouldn't have gotten up. But how many times in Devin's career has he been really stunned like that? Hasn't been that many. Versus Linares, he got stunned, and what else? So, I think it's not fair that we have this notion that if you get hurt, you got a glass chin. Because anybody can get hurt at any point in time. This guy, what's this guy's name? Fought Floyd Mayweather, the rematch. Mexican dude, or Honduran, or whatever. The guy that fought Floyd, that hurt him. He hurt him, stunned him, had Floyd wobbled. That doesn't mean that Floyd got a glass chin. He just got caught with a big shot. That's it. Raw dog. It's the same thing. Look, Kenneth Harvin, let me tell you something funny about Amir Khan. So you could consider it and see what I'm talking about. Amir Khan is widely recognized as a glass chin guy, right? Because of the times that he got knocked out. I want you to take a look at the shot that Canelo caught him with. The hook, if you recall, that spun his whole head damn near like the Exorcist. Canelo hit him so hard his head went on a swivel. Now I want you to tell me if that same shot lands flush like that, is there anyone in planet Earth that stays standing after taking a shot like that? So when we say, oh, look, he got a glass chin, Canelo knocked him out. This guy's a lot smaller than Canelo, moved up, been moving up already. So he has moved up multiple divisions. And he got caught with Canelo's hardest punch flush. Bro, that shot will have 100% knockout percentage if it lands on 100 people. So we're talking about a glass chin. If you get hit with a bomb, it's not a glass chin. You just got hit with a monster shot. To me, and I understand, you know, people see somebody get knocked out. Oh, he got a glass chin. Look, he got knocked out. He got knocked out. You're not understanding that a glass chin You don't automatically got a glass chin because you got knocked out, even if you got knocked out 4 or 5 times. Because there's some shots that if anybody get hit with those, they getting knocked out. You know when you got a glass chin? When you get stunned by punches that normally will hurt other people. When you get hit with a stiff jab, for example, bah, and they wobble you, then you can have a glass chin. Cause like, damn, my man's wobbled you with a stiff jab. What's going on with you? You good? Immature, are you high? No, I'm not high. Slept 2 hours. So, a glass chin, getting knocked out, people always make that assumption that if you get knocked out, you automatically have a glass chin. But golly, go look. Somebody made the example of Amir Khan. Go look at the fight where Amir Khan gets knocked out by Canelo, and tell me that what's glass chin about that? Who survives such a brutal? Matter of fact, look. I'm telling y'all, right? I was telling y'all to look for the shot, so y'all can see it for yourself. Kenneth Harvin. So Crawford better beware. I'm gonna show you, my brother. Watch this. I'm going to show you, my G. So you can see what a brutal knockout punch Canelo landed on Amir Khan. So we could wonder who else is going to survive that shot. Who in boxing survives it? So before you say somebody got a glass chin because they got knocked out, look, my people. Look at the knockout. Look at the knockout punch from Canelo to Khan. Look at the knockout punch, my people. Look. I want you to see the knockout punch. Watch. Boom! Did you see that? Yo, Canelo stepped into that with his whole body weight. And the reason, my people, that's why when you understand boxing a little bit more because you've been in it, there's things that you realize that people who don't understand it. So let me give you, the people who don't understand it just don't see it the same. That wasn't, look at the punch, my people. Look at Amir Khan, what he was doing when he got hit. Boom, you see that he was going to try to throw a hook and got hit right before his hook started to go out. So, and look at the position in Amir Khan's head when he got hit with that punch. Look, boom. You see? The way that Canelo's punch landed, my peoples, it literally twisted his head, put his head on a swivel. Look. Look, because Amir Khan was not waiting for that punch. He was going to try to throw a left hook and boom, got caught right there in the moment. So let me ask you a question. Now that you're looking at the punch with me, my peoples, does going to sleep from that punch mean you got a glass chin? Is there anybody on planet Earth, my people, that's going to survive that shot that twists your whole head? Come on, bro. Real talk. Ernest Morales, Fantasma, yes. In Metro Area Country Club, Raw Dog. It Mean Machine drop Bud and Madrimov hit him at will with right hands. Will Canelo land on Bud? Well, Raw Dog, that's like me telling you if Dimitri Bivol easily outboxed Canelo with his height and reach and Floyd Mayweather easily outboxed Canelo and made him look like a B-level fighter, will Crawford outbox him just as easily? Like, that don't make no sense. You see, that's why watching boxing for 40 years is not going to teach you this. As much as you watch, it's not going to teach you this. No matter who two fighters fight over there and over there, that doesn't matter when they fight each other. Crawford is not going to fight Canelo the same way that he fought Madrimov. If you was a fighter, I wouldn't have to tell you that. But watching it on TV, you're like, well, Madrimov hit him. So Canelo's going to hit him too. I'm going to tell you something, Raw Dog, so that you can see where your boxing TV knowledge falls short. People made the same argument about Gamboa. That was the same logic. I've trained and have 2 sons. You trained. Okay, you didn't compete. You still don't know. You didn't compete. You still don't know. But hear me out. Didn't you learn when people made that argument that Gamboa Little Gamboa hurt Crawford, so therefore Errol Spence was going to knock him out? You didn't learn from that argument, huh? You're making the same one. That was the same logic that people try to use. I'm trying to school you right here. People said, well, since Gamboa hurt him, oh my God, Errol Spence is going to kill him. And what happened to Errol Spence? Do I need to remind you what happened to Errol? But the point is, look at your logic. It's the same logic. You're using the same exact logic that you probably used before, because you probably said Spence was going to beat Crawford. So you the same way that you're saying Gamboa is no Canelo, Madrimo is no Crawford. What are you doing? What are you doing? You see? There goes the logic. Learn. Now you use the right logic. It's interesting with Canelo, you use the right logic. Oh, he's no Gamboa. Well, there you go. Canelo is no Madrimov. Crawford is not going to fight him the same way. Watching TV is not going to teach you that. For 100 years, you could watch TV. It's not going to teach you that. You're sitting here making assumptions from a watching TV and social media perspective, as opposed to you being in the ring with a fight, competing, and understanding certain things that you just don't see. You're looking at, oh, this little guy beat him, or this little guy put hands on him. And meanwhile, the people that you're bringing up is people that Crawford either knocked out or beat. And Canelo has lost twice. But you don't bring up, well, Bivol beat Canelo and made it look easy. And Crawford got longer reach than Bivol. Ah. So you see, Road Dog, Terence Crawford's physical advantages, you disregard them. You act like they don't exist. Why you disregard them? Again, because you have TV knowledge. You have watching TV knowledge. But as a fighter, I know what reach advantage means. I know what factors it plays. And I know that reach advantage is a physical advantage. You understand? It's a physical advantage. The physical advantages which Terence Crawford possesses over Canelo, you seem to ignore. Again, because you just watch boxing on TV. If you ever competed and been in the ring with somebody who has 4 inches of reach over you and they jabbing your face off, you would understand the difference. You would understand the physical advantages that Crawford got over Canelo. But all you can do from your TV watching experience is talk about weight. Oh, the weight, the divisions, and look at the other fighters that he fought, and Gamboa, and Khan, and those are all, casual fan arguments that hold no water at all. You haven't put a single reasonable talking point. You haven't put one. Look at this, Raw Dog. Look at your comment. Look what you're saying. And it's going to be so easy for me to debunk you. Raw Dog, the ability to take a shot at 168 as opposed to 135 is different. You're right. So what are you assuming, though? What are you assuming? That Crawford is not going to be able to take a shot? That's your assumption. Now, you can't assume that. You can't assume that, Raw Dog. But where's that assumption going to go if this fight goes the distance? Isn't that going to look like a dumb assumption if the fight goes the distance? Or is it going to look like a dumb assumption if Canelo lands some good shots, hard shots, and Crawford stay right there in front of him? Isn't it going to look like a horrible assumption? So again, when you have that TV knowledge, you get to make negative assumptions. And they play out against what you're assuming. Meanwhile, look, let me show you, Raw Dog. Because I'm an analyst, my guy. I'm an analyst. You got a fan of boxing trying to tell an analyst. There's things that I see that you don't even consider, my G. So let me explain to you something that you just don't want to take into consideration. As much as you're clinging on to the weight and the size and the moving up and the power, most people, including most people in this chat, know that the majority of fights are not dictated by power. They dictated by skills. When you put two top-level fighters, it's skills that pay the bills. You clinging on. Notice how now, if I say it, you might actually say it. Notice every single one of your comments, Raw Dog, has been about size, power, and fought this guy, and this guy hit Crawford, and you haven't said a single word about Canelo's skills, or how Canelo's gonna strategically win this fight, or how he's just big and strong. That's all you've been saying. He's big and strong, big and strong. Now you might have to respond to me and say something about his skills. But all you cling on to is he's big and strong, big and strong. Meanwhile, you completely disregard Terence Crawford's skills, what he brings to the table, and the physical advantages that he got over Canelo. You talk about Canelo's physical advantage, but you ignore Crawford's physical advantage. And it's going to play out on September 13th. You're going to see it. You're going to see it. Mr. Riz is 26C in the UK. 26 Celsius. I don't know Celsius, bro. You got to tell me in Fahrenheit. I don't know if 26 is cold, hot. I don't know Celsius, my G. Mr. Riz, do you know any good boxing conditioning drills to get the body strong? There are some very good drills that you can find online. Honestly, I used to do a couple of them. I don't know by heart the name of it, but I'll share the link. I'll share the link in the comments. Ernest Morales, the same losing logic. Blind hate. Most haters have their own sense, less opinions. I'm telling you, man. When you're expressing an opinion based on hate, you say a lot of things that they don't really make no sense, but you try to make them make sense. You know, because you don't like this person, so you try to formulate an argument to make it make sense so you can go against them. But it's really just hate. John Parham, I'll admit, I wanted to see if Buck can handle Canelo power myself. But with Buck footwork, will Canelo land some good clean shots? No, look, I can tell you, it's reasonable. It's very reasonable to see how is Crawford gonna react when he get hit. But one thing is to wonder how he's gonna react, and another to say that he's gonna lose because the power is gonna be too much. You're making a negative assumption. Like, if you're saying the power is gonna be too much, he's not gonna be able to handle it. If the fight goes the distance right there, you already look goofy as hell. Right there, if the fight goes the distance, and you've been saying that Crawford is not gonna be able to handle it, your prediction already look goofy as hell. John Pound 26 is hot for the weather. Okay. Alpha Sosa gang, OG, what's good, man? Good morning, bro. Let's go, Matias. Let's go, Edgar Morel. Let's go. Ooh, Alpha Sosa gang, salute, my G. So I gotta tell you, man. I don't know about your Puerto Rican brothers right now, man. I've been disappointed with Edgar Berlanga, some of his recent performances. To me, he got to redeem himself to make me believe in him again. If he could beat Shiraz, I'm back in the Berlanga bandwagon. Now, Subriel Matias, we got a problem, my brother. We got a problem right there. He's going against Alberto Puello, my Dominican brethren. So I'm rocking with Puello. Not just because that's my Dominican brother, but because of the style. You know, classic matchup. Boxer, puncher, Alberto Puello, slick. He could be awkward, rangy, got that jab. And Subriel Matias, you know, for my taste, he gets hit a little bit too much. You know, he's a very straightforward fighter. Yes, he slip punches, but he's, you know, very compact and he doesn't move. You know, he doesn't really give a lot of angles, doesn't use a lot of footwork. He's right in front of you, applying pressure. But, you know, when you're facing a guy who has that reach advantage over you like Alberto Puello, he's going to eat a lot of shots trying to get on the inside. I see Puello winning by decision. John Parham. Dilbert people got to get over that excuse respectfully. Albert Sosa gang, that's true. He gonna beat that Dominican dude. It's a beast. Yo, the funny thing is that a lot of people told me, yo, I'm going with Subriel Matias. He gonna knock him out. And then I asked them, okay, have you seen Alberto Puello? Oh, nah, I haven't seen him fight, bro. How you making a prediction against a world champion that you never seen? Puello can fight, my peoples. Don't sleep on him. Ernest Morales, big and strong is good when you have the talent to make power and strength effective. Facts, my G. Claymore Rain in the building. Salute, Claymore. Bam. Tangible versus the intangibles. On paper, this fight is going to be super interesting. But if you follow the surface level analytics, you might miss the big picture. Terrence is a live dog in this fight. I think it's even disrespectful the way that some fans talk about this fight. And I say that because according to what some say, Crawford is not going to have any power. He's going to be slow. He's going to be too small. He's going to be, Canelo's just going to eat his punches like nothing and just walk him down and bully him. And it's like, what are we talking about? Have we not seen this guy's entire career? Have we not, or most of it? Have we not seen what he does in the ring? Have we not seen what he did in the ring the last time people said he was going to get knocked out? But now we cling on to the details. Oh, no, the weight. Oh, no, the size. Oh, no, moving up. You're going to learn. You should have learned the last time. The last time you went against Crawford and he absolutely pummeled his opponent, you should have learned. You should have learned. Raw dog, Canelo will come in slim and light. You don't get it. I don't know what you're talking about. Canelo will come in slim and light. They're both going to come in around the same weight. They're both going to be right around the same weight. And what you don't get is that Terrence Crawford been walking around north of 180 pounds for the last few months. Not a fat 180 pounds. He didn't just eat a bunch of pizza and a bunch of hot dogs and stuff like that and get fat. No. He bulked up. See? Again, when you participating, when you're in it, it's different than when you're watching it. Crawford bulked up to 185 pounds. In fact, then a couple of days before Canelo fought William Skull at 168, Crawford posted a picture of him weighing 185. This guy was taller, longer reach, and outweighing Canelo by almost 20 pounds when Canelo was going to fight. Take that into consideration while you're sitting here thinking, oh, Crawford is this little guy. He's going to fight the big guy. And then you have the audacity to ignore that Canelo is little. Canelo is little, bro. Canelo never been big in his entire career. Why are we acting like Canelo is a big fighter when every single opponent he faced in the 168 division is bigger than him? Everybody he faced in the division, raw dog, is bigger than him. Canelo's a small dude. So to help you understand it, because I'm telling you, there's things that you just don't understand. Take a look at Manny Pacquiao at the welterweight division, right? He moved up. He found a lot of success there. But every opponent he faced, every champion he beat in that division was bigger than him. He was able to accomplish that because of how talented he was. But he's a small guy. Small for the welterweight division. Manny Pacquiao's size, he could have stayed his whole career at 135 and 140. His whole career. But he's just that good that he was able to move up. Canelo's the same deal. He ain't a true 168 pounder. We're going to act like he a big dude. He's not. So Crawford is able to move up and challenge and fight him because he's not a big guy. But you ignore all that. You ignore the actual size and try to focus on numbers. Look, 168. How far is 168? Because that's what I'm trying to tell you, man. That watching TV knowledge be fooling you into thinking that you have actual knowledge, bro. Claymore Rain. Subriel can knock him out. But out of the 12 rounds, how many rounds can Subriel outbox Puello? Ooh, you see Claymore Rain? That's a problem right there. That's a problem right there. Is he going to be able to outbox him? You know how I think that Subriel is able to outbox Puello? If he lands a nasty shot and just messes up his equilibrium and he just can't recover. Kind of like, remember Andy Ruiz with AJ? That first he landed that shot to the head and AJ could never really recover. That's why he got stopped. So I think that's the only way Subriel is going to outbox him. You know, if he hurt him and Puello can't come back to being himself, or if he catch him with a nasty body shot, takes the footwork away from him, but it's got to be something like that. If you don't hurt him, if you don't do something to stop his mobility, you're going to be in trouble. Clay Moraine, maybe a light snack, pack for Pacquiao too. But sure, I get it. Alpha Sosa gang, but his heart, bro. Crawford, old muscle, bro. He has to prove and show that power everyone been sleeping on. I mean, you know how boxing is, man. People only cling on to your last performance. It's like, nah, look, B-Roll went the distance. He don't got no power. And when he move on, he not going to have no power. Meanwhile, I'm watching this dude deadlifting 500 pounds with his regular clothes on. People telling me he ain't going to have no power. I don't know, man. I don't know how people make their assessment. John Parham, Bud got that country Nebraska strength. Bro, y'all gotta hear this. That country strength, that should be different. That country strength, it's a different story. Ernest Morales, soy boricua, Subriel, my friend. But although we all root for our own, I see Puello outboxing my friend. I'm telling you, because you're not making a decision based on friendship. You're making an assessment. Let me tell you something, my people, it's about country strength. When I was maybe 19 years old, here in the Dominican Republic, I went to the countryside with some family members, right? And a few of us, oh no, it was with some of my friends. And a few of us came from the States, right? From New York. We ain't never seen a donkey up close like that. You know, we seen them on TV. And when I was a little kid, I seen them. But as a grown person, I never seen one up close. So we go to the countryside, we see this donkey. And yo, he got in his back, right? They got him with like a saddle. And it's carrying mad wood, like logs in the donkey's back. And it's going up a hill, like up a mountain. And this dude tell us, yo, we gotta help him. He can't keep climbing up. And I'm like, yo, bro, look, them logs is mad big. How we gonna carry that shit off his back? And we all looking at it, yo, it's 4 of us. And we looking at it like, how we can't carry that shit, not even all 4 of us. Yo, this dude from the country, one of them country dudes, like 50 years old. Nigga say, yo, get out the way, get out the way. And yo, this dude is in chancletas, wearing chancletas, in mud. He tell us, yo, get out the way, get out the way. Yo, this motherfucker grabbed the whole shit from the donkey's back. Get out my way, man, get out my way. Yo, this dude carried that whole shit by himself up the rest of the mountain, B. Yo, them country people strong, bro. They over there eating the yams and the natural eggs with the protein, and it's a different ball game. Different ball game. Terrence Crawford got that type of strength. Yeah, people sleeping on him. People acting like Crawford is gonna be weak, slow. Somebody the other. Think about this, so you can see how naive people are when they rooting against somebody. The other day, somebody told me, Jay, Terrence Crawford is weighing 154 pounds. What you think is gonna happen when he has to gain 24 pounds? He's gonna show up looking mad fat and mad fluffy. Watch. So, this guy's actually thinking that Terrence Crawford is walking around weighing 154. Like, bro, he fought at 154. You don't know this dude walk around in the 160s, 170s? What are you talking about? But not only that, bro, Terrence Crawford was walking around at 185, 185 pounds, my people. So the notion that he's gonna gain weight to actually fight Canelo is erroneous, to say the least. simply because he's cutting down in weight. He has to cut down to make 168. And right now, go to his Instagram. Look, I'll show you. Does he look at 185? Crawford is jacked, my peoples. He's strong. Come on now. Like this. At 185, he's like this. Imagine, my peoples, when he cut down to 168. He gonna be cut up. He gonna be shredded. He gonna be shredded, my people. Raw dog, you don't understand power. No, my brother, it's not that I don't understand power. It's that you don't understand boxing. That's what it really is. H3CS said hi. What's the deal? Raw dog, bug gonna be heavy, slow, easier to hit, less chin. See, done. There you go. You see, you only say that because you never competed a day in your life. What you're not understanding is that Terence Crawford is an athlete at an elite level. That he's walking around at 185, that he's sparring at 185, that at 185 he's looking fast. He's running at 185. He's training at 185, and he's already looking fast. You sitting here thinking that when he cut down in weight to 168, he's going to be slow, and he's going to be easier to hit, and he's going to have less chin? You see? Listen, Raw Dog, I promise you, it's because of fans like you that Floyd Mayweather's uncle said most people don't know shit about boxing. Because you watch TV a long time and you think you become an expert. You make yourself an expert. And you make all these crazy assessments that don't make no type of sense. Crawford is going to be the faster guy in the ring. That's number one. Number two, you're talking about he's going to have less chin. How do you even come up with that conclusion? He's going to have less chin. Like, how exactly? Like, that's crazy. No fighter, trainer, promoter, nobody. Like, how does someone even come up with this? That's why I told you earlier, it's a lot easier for you to just say, I don't like Terence Crawford. That's it. Because when you become a hater, you start coming up with all these logics that you think make sense, but in reality, all you're doing is exposing yourself as a hater. That's it. Because you say, he's going to have a worse chin. He can't have a better chin. Come on now. Like, what are we talking about? Worse, better chin? What are we talking about? What we do know is that you don't know anything about his chin. That you see what your TV knowledge does? It makes you start making an opinion about his chin. Something that there's no way for you to assess or measure. No, there's no way for you to do that. You don't even know if he's going to get hit. You don't even know if he's going to get hit with that shot. You're assuming that he is. So instead of all those Terence Crawford hater responses, you could just say, I don't like Terence Crawford. And stop trying to be an expert, bro. That's the thing. People watch boxing and they want to be an expert. If you want to be an expert, cool, but be an expert with people who never boxed too. And then y'all can back and forth with crazy logic that don't even make sense. But don't try to be an expert with an actual expert, because you don't make sense. You think you're making sense, but you're not. You're not at all. High roller Louis. Wording is key. High roller Louis. When you could have said is you don't know how Crawford chin will hold up against Canelo power at 168, because we honestly don't know. I said those words. I said those exact words. We really don't know. So why would someone say, oh, his chin is not going to hold up, and he's going to be slower, and he's making all these negative assumptions. Just say you don't like the guy. You save all that stuff that's just exposing you as a hater. Just say you don't like him. Say I don't like Crawford. That's it. You're not making a single reasonable. Look, reasonable fans just sit there and debate what they think that Canelo can do. Oh, no, look, Canelo's a pressure fighter. Canelo can catch him with the body shots. Canelo can slow him down. This dude's over here arguing about what Crawford cannot do and what Crawford cannot handle. And they all just assumptions that he made up in his head. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. Be for real. H3CS88. Bud just needs to be first pace himself and stay off the ropes. High roller Louis. Truth be told, Canelo haven't been knocking anybody out lately. Come on, man. Come on, man. Raw Dog, I love Bud. But was at the fight for Madrimov. Okay, but because you don't know nothing about boxing, you think that Madrimov is irrelevant for the Canelo fight. If you knew boxing, you would understand that it doesn't mean anything. High roller Louis. It'll be a fun fight. I can see it going multiple ways. So I tell you what, look, I feel like the first few rounds, Crawford is definitely going to win them. And I'm going to tell you why he's going to win those rounds. Like I said before, Terence Crawford has a sizable reach advantage over Canelo Alvarez. That's why I pointed out that he has a longer reach than Dimitri Bivol, who successfully kept Canelo outside of his punching range. It's going to take, remember that I told you this, guys. It's going to take, Road Dog is bringing up Porter now. You bringing up everybody except Bivol. Except Bivol and Floyd Mayweather, who put the beats on Canelo. You bringing up people that Crawford stopped. So, it's going to take Canelo Alvarez multiple rounds to figure out that range. He's not, that first few rounds, he's not just going to go in there and start landing good shots on Crawford. Why? Because that reach is going to be in full effect. You're going to see that jab. Bang, 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 bang. Canelo's going to have to find a way to close that gap. And he's going to eat some punches on the way in. So by the time he figures that out, maybe the third, fourth round, he'll start landing his own shots. It's gonna turn into a chess match. While people who don't know shit about boxing think that Canelo's just gonna walk in there and blast Crawford out of there, what's actually gonna happen, I say it here because it's a receipt. Canelo's gonna taste that power that people who don't know shit about boxing think Crawford don't have. And now he's going to be hesitant to go on the inside. He's going to be more of a fighter that's standing outside of that range, trying to find his way in without getting hit with that shot. So now you're going to see a chess match for a few rounds where they go back and forth. Both of them landing good counter punches on each other, landing good shots. So they're both going to win rounds. It's going to be a competitive fight. But by the 10th round, that's it. Crawford already figured out the timing, the space, got that footwork going, got that jab, got that counterpunch going, and that's it. He might even make it look easy. You see, that's the thing that Raw Dog and Crawford haters don't look at. They don't consider. Canelo's been made to look easy twice. Terence Crawford is undefeated. Canelo is... Let that sizzle in your spirit, Raw Dog. Canelo has been made to look easy twice. We already know. And he been made to look easy by guys who didn't use power. By guys with low knockout percentage. By guys who didn't hurt him. So while you hear clinging onto power and weight and how hard he hits, he got beat up by two guys who didn't even have to hurt him. They just outboxed him and made him look like a dishwasher. Come on now. Please, don't bet on Bud. I don't hate Bud. Oh, no. Look, the thing is that you're not a regular Terence Crawford hater. You're an in-the-closet Terence Crawford hater. The in-the-closet haters are the ones that say that they don't hate him, but look what you say. Oh, look, he went down to Porter, and he didn't do this, and look at Madrimov, he struggled, and he didn't do that. You're not a Terence Crawford hater, but everything you say about him is negative. You haven't said one positive thing about him. You haven't said that he can fight. You haven't said that he's an undisputed champion. You haven't said that he accomplished a lot. You haven't said that he's a great athlete in extremely great condition. You don't say a single positive things. You're an in-the-closet hater. But then at the end, when you call the hater, because that's what you are, you're like, oh, no, not me. I'm a fan of Terence Crawford. I just happen to say a lot of negative shit about him. Stop it, bro. You already exposed yourself. Don't go back on it now. High roller. This is where I'm coming from after the fight. John Parham, somebody not hitting the like. Damn, man, 20 people in the building, 13 likes. Y'all be doing me wrong, my peoples. Come on now. Y'all ducking that like button the same way Tank Davis ducking Shakur. Keep it real. El fantasma de Geraldo Ledesma. Canelo's a cheater. Why even support that? I mean, I don't know. I'm pretty sure that Raw Dog is not going to talk about Canelo popping dirty because he don't like Crawford, right? He don't like Crawford, so, you know, hopefully Canelo's clean. Canelo's not on them things. Let's see. Let's see how that plays out. Raw Dog, I love Button. He's an all-time great. Oh, yeah, of course. Now you got to say the facts. When all you've been saying is hater shit. Now you got to say the facts because you already got exposed as a hater, bro. You don't have to compliment Crawford and what we all know. Don't worry about it. Ernest Morales, dishwasher. Nah. I thought that one slipped by y'all. John Parham, agree, bro. Crazy work. Yo, watch, man. September 13th cannot come soon enough. Soon enough. Raw Dog, hater for saying who loses. Oh, no. A hater's not. You could say who wins, who loses. You could make a prediction. A hater for constantly making negative assumptions. You're assuming Crawford is not going to have no power. You're assuming Crawford's not going to have no strength. You're assuming that Crawford's not going to be able to handle Canelo's punches. You're assuming his feet are going to be slow. How many more negative assumptions can you have to prove that you're a hater, bro? Like, come on now. And then they're all negative, horrible assumptions. Like, how can I even see a guy training at 185, bam, 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 and assume that he's going to be slow when he cut down in weight? Because you don't know shit about boxing, so you want to make horrible assumptions about the fighters that you don't like. That's why you need Box Center, my G. That's why you need Box Center, so you can take that TV knowledge and throw it away and relearn. You're able to relearn how things really go down. It's my opinion, bro. Sorry. You don't got to be sorry about your opinion. But how exactly do you formulate an opinion about the punches that a fighter is going to be able to take? How? This is why you need Box Center, so I could explain to you that you don't know shit about the power that a fighter can take. You need somebody to explain that to you. So you don't go in no more debates saying, well, you know, he's not going to be able to handle power. Because the moment somebody asks, how do you know that, you're going to look goofy, bro. Making negative assumptions, that's the problem. You make negative assumptions and then you turn it into an opinion. That's an assumption. That's not an opinion. You don't know the power that he's going to be able to handle or not. Ah. But look what you say now. It's my opinion, bro. Sorry. Don't turn yourself into the victim, bro. You're not a victim. I'm not a victim. You don't got to turn yourself into a victim here. But you can't say, oh, he's not going to be able to handle power. Huh? What do you mean? How do you know that? Well, I don't know. But his chin is not going to get any better. Huh? Are you telling me that is your opinion? Come on, bro. Come on, bro. Come on. We'll revisit. We'll revisit when the fight happens. I can't wait. I can't wait for the fight to happen. But I'm going to tell you what. Brian Norman Jr. and Devin Haney, that's a fight that I would say the stocks are up for that fight. They raised the stocks after what happened yesterday. Because you could see that there was some real friction there. Devin Haney's security guard, he overstepped. Definitely did too much. That's why earlier I said, yo, he should be fired. Fire him. And if he's not going to get fired, at least sit him down and school him. Be like, bro, when Devin Haney is dealing with fans or is dealing with hecklers, it's not the same than when he's dealing with a world champion. Yes, a fan cannot just walk up to him and put his finger in his shoulder or his chest or wherever. A fan cannot just step to his face. But when you're talking about a fighter who he already has a contract to fight, When they're going one-on-one in public, you don't get in between them. They selling the fight, you goofball. What are you doing? So it's like that security guard was you an NPC trying to be a main character. Bro, use a non-playable character. Play your role. You're supposed to stand right there and shut up. And not even move. You got 2 world champions engaging. And you're going to step in and grab a guy by the shirt and do all that? That's crazy. Crazy work. So I say, yo, fire him or sit him down and teach him how to do his job. And explain to him that the interaction is not the same. Like, the way that he handled it is like Brian Norman Jr. was just some fan, some random fan who approached Devin Haney. And he's sunning him. Like, bro, that's a world champion that could knock you out to sleep with a left hook. Thankfully, Brian Norman Jr., handled it, kept his composure. Of course, a little pushing and shoving. Little scuffle there, nothing big. But Buddy could have messed everything up. Yo, a fight, the type of fight that could have broke out, there would have been no fight in November. Somebody could have got hurt, somebody could have got suspended, somebody could have got arrested, and no fight. So, my man, security guard, they need to at least holler at him. Make sure that never happened again. Put him, he got to be downgraded. He got to be the dude that opened the car door, the guy that go get the Doritos and the sodas. He got to be that guy. The guy that's with us close right here got to be somebody that understand better how to handle these situations. Biz 0128 facts. Chris Fontaine, security done put wrinkles in Norman's shirt. Yo, man, like, what are you doing, bro? What are you, like, that was funny. That was just funny. High roller, the Doritos. You a Cool Ranch or nacho cheese, man. Nah, bro, I gotta rock with the nacho cheese, my guy. That nacho cheese with that little spiciness that it got on it. Gotta rock with it. I mean, and look, I like the ranch, but ranch to me is in 3rd place. Cause I'm rocking with the nacho, with the cheese, and then I'm rocking with the marinara. I'm on marinara mode. That's a tough fight, man. That's a tough fight, my peoples. I know, it's the funny thing about boxing is that we always feel like, sure, this guy's gonna win. I'm sure this guy's gonna win. I'm sure that guy's gonna win. It's no different with Brian Norman Jr. and Devin Haney. People going back and forth on who's gonna win. That's a tough fight, man. That's a tough fight. Brian Norman Jr. told Devin Haney to his face that he's gonna knock him out. To his face. Chris Fontaine, nah, Jay, the purple bat is fired. I mean, I gotta give it a whirl. Gotta give it a whirl. High roller Louis, sweet chili. Ooh. Oh, now y'all coming with the elite toppings. Kenneth Harvin, I want to see if Devin has that same energy when they fight. We're gonna see it, bro. Because at the end of the day, no matter how much people criticize Devin Haney, he can box. You see his last fight where people are saying that he ran too much, it was boring, blah, blah, blah. I want you to consider this. If you were a fighter yourself, you could only wish that you fought the same way that Devin Haney fought in his last fight. I want you to think about that. If you yourself was a fighter, you can only wish you fought like that. Now, I ask you, if you a fighter and you could be in a fight, involved in a fight like Canelo versus Triple G, or if you could be in the fight like Devin Haney and Jose Ramirez, where you're Devin Haney, which of those 2 fights would you want to be? Think about the type of punches that Canelo ate from Triple G. He won, okay, he won the fights. It's not even, we're not making a conversation about who won, who lost. The type of punches that he ate from Triple G. Devin would have had to eat those type of punches. Or you would have to eat those type of punches if you prefer to be involved in that fight. Meanwhile, if you fought like Devin, you're walking out of there clean. You're not taking all that punishment. So the point is that if you're a fighter, do you really want to take punishment? Do you really want to walk out of there with your eyes like this, with your nose like this? So it's nice to see it on TV. Like my brother Road Dog, I've been watching it for 40 years. Yeah, but how about when you step in the ring and your eyes like this, and your nose is crooked, and your mouth is broken, and you're having headaches for a week? So it's easy to fall in love with Rock'em Sock'em Robots. You're just watching it. You're watching two people being brutal towards each other, but you're not partaking in that action. So yeah, go ahead, do ya break each other's heads? But what happens when they punch drunk? When they can't even put a sentence together? What you gonna do for them? What are us fans doing for the fighters right now that are punch drunk and broke somewhere? They gave us what we wanted. Now what? Now what? So Devin Haney fought a great fight versus Jose Ramirez. You know why? Because when he lost to Ryan Garcia, because remember, he lost and the outcome was overturned, right, into a no contest. But he lost. When he lost to Ryan Garcia, he took a nasty beating. He was dropped multiple times and also got hit with punches where he didn't drop, but he got hit flush real hard. That staggered him, wobbled him and all that. So after a fight like that, fights like that take a toll on you, take a toll on your body. So after a fight as brutal as that one, the last thing you want to do is get in another fight right after. Be involved in a slugfest. Take a lot of big shots. Why? Because you got to take care of your health. If you're involved in that same type of fight, bro, Devin Haney might come out of that second one talking funny, slurring his speech, not even walking, stuttering. Bro, another fight like that one could mess you up in the head. So what did Devin Haney do? Use his footwork, use his jab, use his movement, his angles to stay away from absorbing a lot of punishment. Simple as that. Devin Haney put together a master class, my people. That was a master class performance. Jose Ramirez is a top level guy. Anybody who knows boxing knows this guy can fight. He was a world champion. The guy can fight. And versus Devin Haney, he wasn't able to do anything. Devin was able to neutralize everything that Jose Ramirez does. That's a masterclass. What you have to do with Devin for that fight is go like this. Salute. Bang. Stayed out of trouble. Stayed away from getting hit. Make sure, you had that type of fight. You have to have a fight where you don't get hit. You got to be good. Your faculties. Great fight. Take away everything Jose Ramirez does. And pitch a shutout. Make it look easy. Don't take a lot of punishment. That's a great fight. Just business. Now, was it the most entertaining? Maybe not. If you don't like that style of boxing, it wasn't entertaining for you. But it was a great fight. It was a great fight for sure. Just business. What up? What up, my man? What the topic today? And to the chat, name 2 boxers you could bring back who you got. I got Sweepy and Hitman Hearns. Canelo in 6 rounds. So, my brother, today we're talking about Brian Norman Jr. and Devin Haney. They're going to be fighting. Yesterday, they had a little scuffle, man. They had a little scuffle. One of Devin Haney's somebody from his security team, put hands on Brian Norman Jr., pull his shirt up and everything. And it was just a situation, man, that I think it was embarrassing for Devin's team to have somebody acting like that. I said it already. They should either fire him or at least pull him aside and explain to him how to do his job. They didn't do the right thing. So we talking about that. We talking about Canelo Alvarez and Terrence Crawford. We talking about boxing fans who watch TV and think that they're experts because they watched a lot of TV. Ernest Morales got Norman over Devin. Devin is a master boxer, but so is Norman. Devin is coming off of a devastating defeat, so fighting a very cautious fight makes sense. See, that is the point that people don't understand. They want to see fighters fight every fight the same way, and that's not the way that it works. With the beating that he took from Ryan Garcia, it was necessary to fight that type of fight if he wants to take care of his health, keep his faculties, not get, some permanent damage. So they came in with the perfect fight. That was a master class that he put together. I mean, again, look, because I don't know Jose Ramirez. I don't know Jose Ramirez's record by heart. I know that he had only lost either once or twice. But I want to show you guys. Look at this. Jose Ramirez has 29 wins, 18 knockouts. And that was his third loss. That was actually his third loss. So you have to understand. Look at the people that beat Jose Ramirez. Josh Taylor, the undisputed champion. He actually took his strap. That's one of those that he needed to become undisputed. Arnold Barboza Jr., who only lost to Teofimo Lopez after that, but was undefeated at the time, and Devin Haney. Look at the names that Jose Ramirez lost to, my peoples. Josh Taylor, Arnold Barboza Jr., and Devin Haney. 3 legitimate world champions. So what I'm trying to tell you, bro, Jose Ramirez is legit. He's a legit world champion. He can fight. And Devin Haney made it look easy. What more of a masterclass do we need? All you have to see is that. Made it look easy. Imagine a guy of Jose Ramirez caliber stepping in there against Devin Haney and having Devin pitch a shutout against him. Imagine that. That shows you. Pure masterclass. You saw the footwork. You saw the reach. You saw the angles. There was nothing he could do that night. Chris Fontaine, just business. Dev don't have footwork. I mean, if somebody say Dev don't have footwork, I don't know what to tell you, man. Respectfully, you don't know shit about boxing. Y'all gonna start making me say that phrase at 7:30 in the morning? God damn. Boxing on paper, yo, Jay. Why is Kataev still fighting? They didn't even mention anything about the PEDs at the conference or in interviews after or anything. I mean, honestly, I don't know. To me, they had already mentioned that he was going to be banned for 2 years. So I don't know if he's fighting. I don't know if they're going to do a last-minute switcheroo and bring in another opponent. I don't know if maybe they're just waiting to find a replacement to say it, but... Oh, tú vas para la piscina.
¿Qué tipo? A ti te empema, papá.
Kenneth Harvin. So Devin won't be fighting on no turkey cards? I don't know, bro. I'm not sure, to be honest. The fact that he's doing business with Top Rank doesn't mean that he won't be fighting on no more turkey cards. Because Devin is somebody, Devin and his pops, they businessmen. When it comes to business, they professional. And I think, we've seen them, do business with Eddie, then go to Top Rank, and then come back and do business with Eddie again. So I think he'll be open to doing business if it makes sense.
Papá, mira que tuyo inmueble.
¿Y qué es eso?
Tuyo.
Ay, no le ponga la mano. Eso tiene gérmenes.
Papá, mamá.
Just business. I'm not a fan of Devin. He not an explosive fighter. Shakur got better feet than him. I mean, I think it's a question of styles. He's not a power puncher. He's not, blowing people out of the water. But, Devin is a great fighter. He's an elite level fighter. High roller Louis. Arturo Tupuro beats Devin Haney. If he decided to box, no chance, bro. No chance. Nobody who's a non-boxer is going to decide to box and be the world champion. It's not going to happen, bro. Trust me. Raw dog, is Snack clean? I mean, that question is something that we cannot answer. I know that you like to make negative assumptions. You made a lot of negative assumptions against Crawford. So when you bring up Snack, I'm assuming that you're going to make a negative assumption. That's what I'm assuming. My assumption is that you're going to make a negative assumption because you're a Crawford hater, right? Now, let me answer the question. To my knowledge, to my understanding, Snack is 100% clean and 100% legitimate. There is nothing to tell me otherwise. You see, here's the funny thing about Snack and what I find the most interesting. We know that Victor Conti went to jail, right? And Victor Conti went to jail for doing, for doing steroids that couldn't be detected and all that stuff, right? He went to jail, did time. His company that he had, Balco, went down. Okay, perfect. Now he comes back, creates a new company, starts over. That company blows up, which is Snack. And automatically, Raw Dog, right? And other people say, nah, he doing steroids and he doing all type of funny shit. But wait a minute. Is there a possibility that because the guy was doing steroids, but he was also doing designer stuff that was legit and added steroids to make it better, but he's actually a chemist. He actually does that shit. Could it be possible that he just used all of his experience to come up with great products, with great supplements, and decided to redeem himself? Or he's still doing the same old shit and he's waiting to get caught and now serve the rest of his life in prison? I don't know, but I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and say, well, maybe the guy came out and is doing it the right way because he's under a microscope. Everybody knows about his past. To me, it's crazy to believe that he came back to do the same thing. Come on now. Come on. That's my take. Right now, there is absolutely no information out there about Snack that suggests that they're doing anything that's not legal. Brian Romero. So who you got winning? Devin, Brian Norman Jr. I got Devin. I'm going to tell you, Brian, I'm not sure right now, my brother. I'm not sure. I'm kind of leaning towards Brian Norman Jr. I was, but then I'm hearing somebody's going to be in Devin's team. A coach is going to join that team. And that made me want to now go back and forth. So I'm not sure, my brother. I will be making a prediction before the fight, but I'm not ready to make that prediction yet. Ernest Morales, that sad part about a fighter's health is that they themselves don't take their health when it comes to money. I'm telling you, that's why the fighters need people in their team to take care of their health. Raw Dog, will you let a pedophile run a daycare? That don't make no sense. You don't make no sense. Raw Dog, Coach, please, por favor. One Eye King. That's like we arguing about pineapples and you bringing oranges. You don't make no sense, bro. Don't. That mental gymnastics doesn't work with me. You gotta use that somewhere else. Definitely don't bring up that type of people in a boxing conversation. Like, that's crazy work. One-Eyed King, oil up. Damn, that's the first thing you said? Nothing about boxing? God damn. David, Canelo or Crawford, who wins? I got Crawford winning that fight. I got Crawford. It's going to be a tough competitive fight. I'm not saying that Crawford is... Nobody's going to watch nobody in this fight. This is going to be a competitive showdown. But I got Terrence Crawford ultimately outboxing him and winning by unanimous decision. Armando Rosado, salute from Puerto Rico. Brian Norman, salute, my brother. Bam. So check it, Armando Rosado. Brian Norman Jr. versus Devin Haney is going to be a very interesting fight. We saw that little scuffle they had yesterday. I believe I was leaning towards Brian Norman Jr., but right now I'm right in the middle. I'm not sure. I am going to, like I said before, man, I am going to make a prediction before the fight. I'm just not ready to make it yet, man. It is going to be a good one for sure. Ooh, Lucy Rosales in the building. Is the coach going to take punches for Devin? He not. He not. But I still have to be hesitant because the coach is going to bring some techniques to Devin that are going to help him offensively and defensively. So him joining that team, it makes me think about it. It does. Armando Rosado. Amanda or Taylor? Woo! So look, man, like I said earlier, I'm going to answer that by saying this. People need to stop sleeping on women's boxing. Women's boxing is on fire. To me, it already sounds funny when somebody say, "Oh, I don't watch women's boxing." Like, yo, stop. Stop. Women's boxing is on fire, my people. Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor, they've gone to war twice already. Like Dimitri Bivol and Arthur Beterbiev. And I believe this fight is going to play out the same way. It's hard for me to pick. I think it might be a split decision. It's going to be a very competitive showdown. I don't know, man. I'm going to be tuning in. It's hard to make a prediction on that fight, but I know they're going to go to war. Lucy Rosales got Amanda. Raw dog. Conte was convicted of PEDs, and you let him work with boxers. Okay. He was convicted. He served his time, and he came out. He can redeem himself. Now, if you don't believe that people can redeem himself, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you, my guy. That's on you. The guy, he was convicted. But what, you see, that's the thing, Raw Dog, that, again, because you just watch TV, you don't know what you're talking about. The guy wasn't just convicted. The guy's a chemist. The guy was doing legal stuff also, if you didn't know. He was doing legal supplements too. So when he came out of jail, guess what? He went back to his profession. If you don't like it, too bad. That's his profession. That's what he did before he got locked up. If you don't think that he can come back and be clean, tough, that's on you. Nobody caught him doing nothing wrong. You can have negative assumptions, but that's all you got, my guy. Negative assumptions. You got a lot of those. That's what haters do. They hate. You can't accept that maybe the guy rose above and got better. Nope. You want to make up a story out of thin air about what he's doing wrong. That's what haters do, my guy. I'm waiting for you to tell me nah, and I'm a Victor Conte fan. You know, I'm just saying that he shouldn't be. I'm waiting for you to do that like you did with Crawford. Branjo Romero, people are haters when it comes to snack. They started hating on snack when Buzz started using it. Before that, everyone was using it. Nobody was saying anything. The thing is, look, Terrence Crawford haters, by default, are going to hate on Snack and Victor Conte. The same with Devin Haney haters. They're going to hate. You know, if you hate any of those fighters, if you always talking negative about those fighters, Snack is going to be one of the things that you need to pull into it. But then when we ask, okay, what has Snack done wrong? Oh, well, this guy did stuff wrong in the past, so he must be doing something wrong now. How crazy you sound. Like, people don't even realize that they be conspiracists. Like, you over here talking about UFOs and aliens. Real. I can't do proper rest right now. I'm 17. I don't have a perfect diet. Okay, so do exercise. If you do exercise, that'll help you go to sleep. So, again, my peoples, you know, why do boxing fans hate on fighters that are great fighters? And then it's funny because for whatever reason, the haters be the first one to tell you, no, I'm a fan of his, and he's a great fighter. After they don't spend 30 minutes talking negative about a fighter and shitting on him and telling you that they didn't beat nobody and that they no good. But I'm a fan of him, though. Like, who you trying to fool, bro? Why you gotta be an in-the-closet hater? You know when there's a gay person that's in the closet and it's like everybody knows that they gay because maybe the way that they walk or maybe the way that they talk, the mannerisms. So everybody know that they gay, but they say that they're not. I'm not gay. Stop it. I'm not gay. But everybody knows that they are, but they still say that they not. Raw dog. That's why you in the closet haters look like? Everybody knows you a hater, but you sit there and say, nah, yo, I'm a Crawford fan. Yo, he's a great fighter. Bro, everybody know you a hater. You don't have to do that. Come on, bro. Raw dog, por favor, Conti is a convicted steroid pusher. Why do you want him in sports? Because anybody can redeem himself. Everybody can redeem himself. Yo, Raw dog, let me give you a heads up. Let me give you a heads up, Raw dog. And the 16 people that is up in here, I'm gonna give all 16 of you, I'm gonna give you the heads up. I'm gonna give you the heads up, Raw dog. My guy, I'm a convicted drug dealer. So, because I'm a convicted drug dealer, you going to judge me my whole life for that? You tell me, Raw dog. So, because I'm a convicted drug dealer, that's it? That's what you're going to see me as my whole life? Everything I accomplished after I came out of jail, you're going to erase it? You tell me. Go ahead, Raw dog, enlighten me. What do you mean am I working in the same industry? What same industry? Last I checked, cocaine hasn't been legalized. Well, how am I going to be working in that industry? But tell me, what industry do you know where that's not around it? What industry do you know where there's not drugs? Enlighten me, my brother. Go ahead. You think there's not drugs in boxing circles? You think there's not people who deal drugs or people who got drugs in boxing circles? So you see, what you're saying about somebody's past is goofy as hell. And it's more about your hate for Crawford, your hate for Haney, and now you're bringing somebody's past. You don't understand. It's horrible. When you use somebody's past to say what they're going to do in the present, it's horrible. That means that you don't have an understanding that people can change. People can become somebody else. You don't know how to give. Because of you, people don't change. Because of you, people don't get an opportunity. Because of you, people say, nah, look, he's this. You don't know nothing about Victor Conti other than he was convicted. You don't know if the guy came out and decided to do things the right way. You don't know if the guy came out and is using his expertise to do the best supplements. You don't know that. But you love to make negative assumptions because that's what haters do. You tell me what Conti's making. I don't know. You tell me. I mean, I have an idea because you love negative assumptions. So go ahead, tell me what Conti's making. And tell me what everybody on Snack is taking. That's it. That's it. You tell me. That Victor Conti has been under the microscope from the moment he stepped his first foot outside of the jail. So under the microscope of the feds, go ahead, tell me what it is that he's making. Since you got such a good logic, Victor Conti been under the under the microscope of the feds since he got out of jail. So go ahead, Road Dog, and tell me, right under the feds' eyes, what exactly is he making? The clear in 2025? Enlighten me. Because that was Barry Bonds, and that was a very long time ago. Barry Bonds, wasn't that in the 90s? Before he got arrested? The clear 2025. Are you making stuff up out of clear air now? Come on now. You see, that's what happens. See, that's what happens, Raw Dog. When you talk to somebody who's on the situations, you know, following up on what's actually happening, you can't just make stuff up out of thin air, bro. The clear 2025, like, what are you talking about, bro? Now you're just making stuff up out of thin air to have a comeback? So, again, we all notice, everybody in here, you guys will notice that the only people who bring up Snack and Victor Conti is Terrence Crawford haters. It's Devin Haney haters. It's Shakur Stevenson haters. No, espérate, Lito. Hold on, espérate. Está bien, pero yo me voy a parar aquí contigo.
Yo puedo.
So that's the...
Yo
hold on.
puedo, papá.
Sí, pero déjame hacer esta puesta. So that's the thing, Raw Dog. You don't
Viste
realize
cómo yo
that
puedo,
you're a
mamá.
statistic. You become a statistic the moment that you start saying what every hater, you're saying the same thing every hater is saying. You're a statistic, bro.
Ay.
But at the end of the day, I'm giving you guys, Ernest, Raw Dog, come on, dude. Drop that harder than the jack. Yo, Raw Dog, man, is acting unusual this morning. He talking crazy. He on hater mode, full percent. But again, my peoples, look, I like to always have a sound logic. That's my thing. I'm all about having a sound logic. And, you know, to me, it's not fair. It's not fair to judge somebody because they did something in the past and that's it. It's not.
Ay, huele.
I have
Esto huele. Esto tú tienes vuelta, mamá.
Venga,
Dame
te voy
a
a
ver.
wisnar.
Tú tienes vuelta, papá.
Échate para adelante.
Tú tienes vuelta, papá.
Yo no tengo fuerza, ¿no?
¿Por qué?
Yo no tengo fuerza, mira.
Yo tengo, papá.
Ay, tú sí tienes mucha. Bye, I love you.
Yo tengo vuelta.
¿Está bien, no, amorita? JM, again with the haters. Change the record, bro. Aburrido. Yeah, sometimes you gotta ignore the hate a little bit because they just on hate mode 100%. And then, I'm responding to somebody that got so much hate in their heart that my people's got hate for days. He could be hated for hours easily. Look, lots of fights coming up. Lots of excitement. Boxing. Look, the hate is so crazy sometimes. I've had people tell me, yo, boxing is down, bro. Boxing, I don't know. It doesn't feel like it's... And I'm like, bro, do you see all the fights that we've already had this year? Do you see all the fights that are already agreed to? We're getting mad great boxing. How could people say, oh, well, boxing is not? Nah, yo, boxing is great right now. It's doing great. Come on now. Raw Dog, I was born at night, but not last night. I'm 48 years old from Sur Calif. I couldn't be a hater if I tried. No, you're definitely a hater. You're a hater on denial. You don't see how many negative things you said about Crawford, and now you're bringing in Victor Conte out of nowhere and talking about what you think that he's doing. Oh, you're definitely a hater. Maybe you're on denial. I thought you was an in the closet hater, but you're not an in the closet hater. You're an in denial hater because you blatantly hate and then say you're not a hater. So yeah, fam, you're definitely a hater. Like there's no getting around that. One more like to 25, my peoples. Adam, who you got in the Savannah Marshall and Shadeja Green? Ooh, I'm gonna tell you something, Adam. That fight. I've had people hit me up and tell me that Shadeja Green is going to show out. Savannah Marshall, I got a lot of respect for her. That's a tough. Look, I'm going to be honest. I'm not ready to make a pick. I'm not ready to make a pick, man. That's going to be a very competitive fight. Tough fight. Stay tuned, man. I'm not ready to make a pick. Shadeja Green can fight. And, of course, Savannah Marshall, we know what she brings to the table. John Parham, boxing been up since Turk arrived. That's a fact. There's some little things I don't like about how the way Turkey handles it, but he's also made some good fights. Put together some good events. The event in Times Square. The fights, you know what? The only thing that was messed up about Times Square is that, if you think about it, a couple of the fights didn't play out as exciting as we wanted them to. But the venue, the idea, I liked it. I liked it a lot. JM, the UFC and MMA has given boxing a new life. We're having some great fights. Raw Dog, keeping it 100 is hating in 2025. No. Making negative assumptions is not called keeping it 100. Now you're being delusional, Raw Dog. When you say, well, Crawford, he's not going to be able to handle power, that's not keeping it 100. That's you hating. See? So don't turn your negative assumptions into keeping it 100. You assuming that Crawford is not gonna be able to take a punch. That's not you keeping it 100. That's you being a Terrence Crawford hater. Why would you assume that? You assuming that Terrence Crawford is gonna be slow. Those were your words. He's gonna be slow, and he's not gonna be able to take a punch. That's not keeping it 100. That's not keeping it 100, family. That's hating. So it's like I told you, bro. You're like the gay guy who everybody knows is gay, but they act like they not gay. And they tell people, no, 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 I'm not gay. You're that. You're the hater who everybody knows is a hater, but you look at people in the eyes and be like, nah, I'm not a hater. I'm really not. I just say a lot of negative stuff about them by coincidence. JM, it's got people who went boxing fans, but maybe wrestlers or BJJ interested in. I'm trying to tell y'all, man. I'm trying to tell y'all. Wait a minute. Wait a minute, my peoples. Still nothing. What's gonna be next? Think about this. Remember that Devin Haney was almost gonna fight Teofimo Lopez, but that fell through. Now we know that Devin Haney's gonna fight Brian Norman Jr. What's gonna happen with Teofimo Lopez? And Jerome Boots Ennis versus Virgil Ortiz. Because remember, Boots and Tio were supposed to mix it up, and then Boots was like, nah, he declined the offer. So we know that Boots is gonna fight Virgil Ortiz. What is next for Teofimo Lopez, my peoples? Sergio Ramos, tonight, big fight card. Been excited for this one. All women fight. Serrano versus Taylor. Who you got, King? So I was saying it earlier, man. Listen, Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor. This is a very competitive fight. I feel like it's going to play out just like the first one. You know, they went to war the first time around, and the second fight, it was the same kind of deal. I feel like this third installment is going to be, you know, fireworks. A fight is going to break out early. Both of them are going to let their hands go. They're going to have their moments, you know, back and forth, the ebb and flow. It's hard to make a prediction, man. By the way, my peoples, I will be calling that fight tonight. I will be live tonight to call that fight. I will make a prediction right before the fight. It's tough. It's tough. Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor, man, they both got heart. They're both warriors. They both can fight, let their hands go. And you can see the way that the first two fights played out. I compare their first two fights to Dimitri Bivol, Arthur Beterbiev first two fights. The two young ladies went at it, so tonight is going to be no exception. Sergio Ramos, that was a good analogy, bro. Definitely. Appreciate it, my guy. JM, you hear me, John Parham? Got people who weren't into wrestling or BJJ interested in it. Listen, man, boxing right now, I believe is you know, going through a great time. So many young fighters that are top level. You know, we're gonna see new champions. Abdullah Mason, by the way, is gonna be fighting that vacant title that Keyshawn Davis left behind. Abdullah Mason is gonna be fighting for it. You saw Kid Austin, Floyd Scofield look spectacular versus Tevin Farmer with an explosive first round knockout. I think that Abdullah and Floyd are on a collision course. They're gonna end up facing each other. It's gonna happen. I hope it happens sooner rather than later, but I really want to see that fight. And look, man, Jerome Boots Ennis versus Virgil Ortiz this year. I didn't even think that was gonna happen. You know why I didn't think that was gonna happen? Because I thought before fighting Virgil at 154, either Boots was gonna grab a title, or Virgil was gonna grab a title, and then they was gonna, you know, somebody was gonna challenge the other one. But they're not even gonna wait that long. It looks like they are gonna fight next for a title eliminator. Ernest Morales, Snack is legit until proven different. Conte is no fool, and understanding just the consequences alone will bury him. This like Canelo it will never decide to take the risk again. That's what I'm trying to say, Ernest Morales. Like, people love to assume something negative, but you're talking about a guy who was busted by the feds, who came out of jail, and he's under federal watch. He knows this. He knows that they're watching him. And you hate Crawford, Devin, you hate these guys so much that you prefer to assume that this guy's getting away with making steroids right under the microphone of the people who busted him for that shit. Do you not understand how things play out in real life? Do you not understand that if you do something and you go to jail, when you come out, they're specifically watching to see if you do it again? People really want to believe that he went back to doing the same thing and he's been getting away with it for all these years. Come on, man. Just maybe, he came out and decided to do the right thing. And he's just really good at it. Just maybe. He was actually really good at making the supplements. He just took it a little bit further and cheated. But what makes you think that he's not really good still and can't do it? So again, you're innocent till proven guilty. Why you mad? Y'all motherfuckers are mad soft. Oh my God, need attention. I'm gonna let you stay in here because you look like you need attention. I would have blocked you, but you know, we like to have losers once in a round jump in and get a little attention. I don't want you to, do something to yourself because nobody pay attention to you. But again, my peoples, these fights are going to be good. These fights are going to be entertaining. By the way, look, watch this. For the people that say that boxing is down right now, I don't know. Naoya Inoue, Bam Rodriguez, Shakur Stevenson, Usyk, Dubois, The Monster, David Morrell, Tank Davis, who will be fighting Lamont Roach, Canelo Alvarez, who will be... Like, do you realize how many... Abdullah Mason, do you realize how many fighters are scheduled to fight that are like the guys, like the elite level guys, and they all have fights coming up? Boxing is on it, my peoples. Sergio Ramos. That's going to be a good one. Boots just got to be quick on his feet. Side laterals, cut corners, move, because Ortiz going to try and be in his face. Exciting year for boxing. That's what I'm saying, yo. It's been an amazing year for boxing. From beginning to end. We've been getting fights after fights after fights. When it comes to Virgil Ortiz and Jerome Boots Ennis, I think Boots is going to has the edge in footwork. When it comes to power, they're right there, right about even, Give or take a little bit either way. But they're right there with power. Both of them could hurt you. Both of them could knock you out. Both of them. Now, where I say Boots also has an advantage is in the offensive arsenal. Obviously, we know that Boots can do it orthodox or southpaw. And that's another thing that Virgil, he's pretty straightforward. He's coming forward, letting them hands fly. And Boots, he gives you angles. He's putting a 1, 2, 3 on you and sidestep into the left. Going to the body, sidestep into the right. So come on now. We have to understand that Boots is a fighter that when it comes to his technical abilities, you can see what he does. Dante Comedy. When you disagree with Jay, he often resorts to calling you delusional or racist. I've never called anybody a racist. You're the only racist who's ever been on this channel. Besides you, there's no other racist in here. You're the only racist that I encounter. Like, you actually spent like $25 just to talk about race. So, like, you actually put money into the super chat just to talk about race. So, the only racist I encounter here expressing anti-Dominican hate was you. No, I've never had a discussion about race, buddy. Elsewhere, B. Norman, strong as fuck. My God, we saw that knockout. We saw it. That knockout was explosive. But I'm going to remind you as well, not just the last knockout, which was brutal, but look at the knockout before that. Look at the knockout before that. Come on now. Brian Norman Jr. is showing us. JM, nah, not delusional or racist, but definitely hater. Yeah, definitely a hater. That's what I'm saying, you see? The Dante comedy talking about race, like he always bringing up race. That's what he does. But a hater, of course you're a hater. If all you do is talk about negative about a fighter, that is a hater. Not just that, my people. Look, and in boxing, it's a sport where we see this a lot. Ernest Morales, yeah, Jay, losers are people too. That's a fact. This is something that we see in boxing a lot. Why do haters like to make negative assumptions about fighters, right? For example, if you think that Canelo is going to beat Crawford, why your talking points cannot be about the things that you think that Canelo does better. You think that Canelo is a better counterpuncher. You think that Canelo is a better pressure fighter. You think that Canelo is a better, body puncher. Whatever it is. But why people cannot formulate an argument based off of what Canelo can do, as opposed to formulate an argument based on what they want to assume that Crawford cannot do. Come on. Come on. Let's keep it 100, my peoples. That's how the easiest way to identify a hater is when they jump in talking about, yo, this fighter can't do this, and he's not going to be able to do that. How do you know what he's not going to be able to do and what he can do? You don't know. So that's what makes you a hater. You want to make up negative assumptions. John Parham, Dante, you're stretching it a little. That's what he does. If Dante's put in this chat 50 messages, 49 of them or 48 have been about race. And he maybe slightly mentioned boxing when I asked him to. I had to, like, bro, can you at least talk boxing? Be at least once? That one time he made a comment about boxing. Yo, that hate is killing you inside, Dante. You got to let that hate go. That hate is hurting you, man. It's hurting you. Let it go. JM, is Davis going to fight Roach again? I heard something last week. Look, man, I'm going to tell you right now. That rematch, it looks like it may actually be in jeopardy. It may actually be in jeopardy. Because we have to take into account that we're not seeing any promotion for it. We're not seeing anything that tells us it's happening. It was supposedly scheduled for next month. We're not seeing no face-off. We're not seeing no pressers. We're not seeing anything. Is it happening? I don't know. I just don't know, my people, for real. John Parham, make sure to watch Jay Smith shorts and like and comment. Appreciate you, John Parham. By the way, my people, so I dropped a new series yesterday, Uncut with Jay Smith. These are videos that'll last, anywhere between 10, 15 minutes, where I'm talking about specific subjects, but they're uncut, meaning they're not edited. If I make a mistake, it's not cut out so that it could, it could be just some cuts where I sounded better or anything like that. It's just me talking for a certain amount of time about a specific topic, but don't miss it. Uncut, the new Box Center series, which already dropped. There's already 2 episodes out, my peoples. Dante Comedy, I asked you, have Haitian heritage? No, Dante Comedy, you're lying. You did not ask. You actually told me that I am Haitian. You told me that I am Haitian. I like the way that people take things and they try to spin them around. You told me that I was Haitian. And I said, no, my brother, I'm not Haitian. Haitians and Dominicans, we both have African heritage. And you said that meant that I hate Haitian people, and you went on your racist anti-Dominican rants. So don't try to change. Don't try to change what you said and try to turn it into what you asked. You didn't ask me if I was Haitian. You said that I was. I said that I wasn't. And you started on your anti-Dominican racist rants, which you've been on since the first time, because that's all you did, talk about racist stuff. You're a racist. You expose yourself as a racist. You gotta stop it. You gotta stop it. You like, what are you talking about? What are you doing? Like, look what you're saying. Remember, your Haitian tenants put food in your table. What does that have to do with you being a racist and anti-Dominican? That don't have nothing to do with nothing. I got Haitian friends. You don't have to remind me of my Haitian tenants because I got Haitian friends. And they're not racist like you. JM. And by the way, Dante Comedy, can you say what race you are? Because you say you're not Haitian, right? So it's actually extremely hypocritical if you're not Haitian for you to be telling a Dominican that he's Haitian, but you're not either Dominican or Haitian. What race are you, Dante Comedy? So I know what type of races I'm dealing with, at least. John Parham, Dante, I was here that live, and I don't go anything like that. But I'm nobody lover. You see how funny John Parham, people like Dante Comedy are? When they have a narrative, it's like he specifically went into Box Center and saw this Dominican guy and said, damn, I don't like this guy. Let me spin some type of narrative around him. And came right away with his racist shit. Put money on the super chat so I could read his racist shit over and over. You could see when somebody has a narrative. But I don't block Dante Comedy. You know why? Because the hate that he has in his heart towards me, I don't have it in return. I don't have that hate towards him. I don't care. While he puts so much energy into my race, I don't even know where he is and I don't care. But I asked him, what are you? Notice, he knows I'm Dominican. He's arguing about Haitians. But at no point in time in this whole couple of weeks has he said what race is he. Put yourself out there, Dante Comedy. Let me know what type of races I'm dealing with. Go get the money. You're Jay Smith. Go get the money in the building. Bam. Jam, his name Dante. You got to ask what race he is. The thing is that, you know, people make stuff up. They make up fake accounts. They make up all type of stuff. So I don't got to ask him what he is, you know. The guy said that he's a historian, and I know he made that shit up out of thin air. I'm a historian. Stay in your lane. So I know he made that up out of thin air. So the name could be fake, and everything he says could be fake. Because dude literally is in here with a narrative, trying to spin a narrative. Brian Romero, oh Lord, and Savior Jesus, say, bless those who curse you. Bam, salute my brother. And those who try to spin a narrative around me, they shall fall. Woo! My peoples, we got an all-women's card tonight. Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor. I don't want to hear. I hope there's nobody in here that's going to say, nah, you know, I don't watch women's boxing. Please, my peoples. In Box Center, we're going to change that whole narrative of people not watching women's boxing. Go get the money. I'm West Indian. Salute, my brother. Bam, and salute to everybody from the West India that's showing love. West does it. Jay Smith, good vibes here. Never mind that dude. What do you think about Gary Russell coming back? You know, Gary Russell's been out of boxing for like 3 years. So that's kind of a long time. And he's in his mid-30s, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see, man. Because, look, Gary Russell, I would say he's one of those elite level fighters who lost most of his career to inactivity. Unless, what a morning for the hateful. Yo, people just got that hate in their heart, man. I don't know what it is. I don't know, like, we talking boxing, having a good time. I don't know. And somebody just got that in their heart. They got it in them. I don't know. I don't know what to tell ya. John Parham, positive vibes and boxing talk or get packed up like old dishes. Off the goodwill you go. To be honest, man, Dante Comedy, I never blocked him because I thought at some point maybe dude was going to talk about boxing. I still haven't even blocked him. It's almost like I have this hope that maybe he's a boxing fan who just want to talk shit. But he just keep exposing that he's a racist. You know, like, look, he showed up now, back with the racist shit that he's on. What can I tell you, my peoples? People gonna be what people gonna be. But again, the all women card tonight, my people, don't miss it. Y'all know y'all boy Jay Smith. I'm gonna be calling them fights. In Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor, you're going to hear this phrase, devastating blow, ladies and gentlemen. That was a devastating blow. I don't know how many times I'm going to have to say it because they're going to war. Those ladies are going to war, my peoples. Go get the money. Who you have? Look at Dante Comedy. Now he came with a new language. Dante Comedy, look, I didn't want to block you. If you want to make up another channel with a different name so that we don't know it's you. But that's it. We tired. We tired of you. You're a racist. And we just tired of you already. That's it. You got corny. Your time ran out already. Your 15 minutes of fame here is done. We done. We cooking them. Ernest Morales, hate breach ignorance. West does it. Serrano will win the fight. Taylor will get the decision. Whoa. Whoa, bro. Nah, John Power, listen. You see that name, Dante Comedy? Don't be surprised if it's 100% fake. That's just a character that he made up so that he can spread his racist stuff around like that. So West does it. You think that this fight is actually going to be taken from Serrano? Look, I believe it's going to be such a close fight that it might be one of those that could simply go either way. It might be one of those. That it could just go either way, and no matter who wins, people in the other side are going to say, damn, they took it from her. It might be one of those fights because take a look at the first two. If you look at the first two, I remember saying that I felt like Amanda Serrano won. But honestly, I watched that fight 2 or 3 times. There were so many swing rounds. There were so many rounds that could have gone either way. That it's hard to say who really won. Like, I had to accept the decision. Like, yeah, yo. How do I decide who won when there's so many rounds that played out this way? Mr. B, Katie Taylor all the way. Ooh, my brother Mr. B rocking with Katie Taylor. I'm going to tell you like this, man. Katie Taylor is a great fighter. She's a volume puncher, a pressure fighter. The thing is, Amanda Serrano is the same thing. That's why I'm telling you, my peoples. I don't want to hear nobody in this channel say stuff like, I don't watch women's boxing. Or women's boxing is not all that. Did you see the first 2 fights between these 2 ladies? Think about Dimitri Bivol, Arthur Beterbiev. Those 2 fights. Well, these 2 was like that. Fireworks. Skills. Heart. I'm telling you. Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano are giving us boxing at the highest level. Tune in tonight. Rashid White. I believe Alicia Baumgartner is superior boxer. And she has little more pop on her punches. Then it won't be the fight that everyone is thinking it will be. Look, man. Alicia Baumgartner is a fighter that I got a lot of respect for. The whole situation happened with her popping dirty. Controversy. That's going to be something to consider sometimes. But she can fight. And she got skills. I like, her mechanics. The way that she does it. The way she goes about letting her hands go. I like it. I like her footwork as well. I think Alicia Baumgartner is going to show out. John Parham. I figured he was speaking in another language to give us a hint. I mean, I don't know what he was doing. I don't know what he was doing. Wes Dustin, remind me of Canelo Triple G. And you saw how they went to war. And that's what we're going to get with Dimitri Bivol, Arthur Beterbiev 3. That's the same thing we're going to get. Rashid White, I had to follow up my comment. I was saying if Alicia has more of a pop on her punches in this fight. Ooh. Oh, you're making a direct comparison. You know what? I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yes. Alicia's strong, bro. And we've already seen the type of knockouts that she's produced. I'm going to say yes. Rocking with Alicia Baumgartner. Having that edge and power. John Parham. Well, he will be setting on a shelf at Goodwill. Now he's going to create a fake account and show up and be quiet. Look, he's the type of person because people who have a narrative like that, who show up with their own narrative, they don't just let go that easy. You know what he's going to do? He's going to create a fake account. He's going to subscribe to the channel. Probably even show up on the super chat a few times. Talk boxing, because you already know, okay, if I'm not, you're going to talk boxing. And after like 6 months, he's going to wait for the right time. He's going to wait till there's like a Haitian fighter that's fighting. And he's going to show up and be like, oh, who do you think is going to win? And if I say, I think this fighter, oh, you're rooting against the Haitian, but you Dominican. Like, he's going to try to do some type of thing like that. I have that it factor, that I don't know how to describe it, that I see stuff coming before it happens. We're going to see him again over here, I promise you. That's why I'm the human algorithm. And Jay Stradamus. I see shit coming before it happens. Ben Sanders, they sold out women's boxing tonight. Yo, women's boxing is showing out. Jake Paul is showing out. That's why I was telling you guys the other day that Jake Paul is very smart, because he knows that his boxing career is never going to be considered legitimate. People always going to, even though he is a legit boxer, that's it. You can't take it away from him. He's a boxer. When you training 6-7 years with real coaches and real good boxing gyms with the best equipment, you a real boxer. But he's not. He's never going to be taken serious, because he's going to cherry pick his whole career. The only boxer that he fought was Tommy Fury, beat him. He can't beat the top level guys, so he's never going to be taken seriously. So it's very smart for him to become a promoter in women's boxing, because then he will be taken seriously. He has a bunch. People don't realize Jake Paul has a bunch of world champions already right now. Right now in the MVP roster, he has over like 6-7 female champions, reigning world champions right now. So Jake Paul is aiming to become the main guy in women's boxing. He's going to be the main promoter. He's going to be the guy who has the most champions, the most female champions, the best fighter. He's going to be that guy. That's what he's doing. So it's like, okay, people not going to take my career serious as a boxer. They're going to have to as a promoter. As a promoter, he's doing his thing. Wes does a real boxer, but never an elite one. Yeah, he'll never be an elite level fighter. He'll never be a world champion. Well, he could be a world champion, because you know politics, they could set him up to fight for a vacant title versus a nobody. And there you have it, he gets a title. But he could never be a world champion. Look, I've explained this before. I try to tell people. I had somebody tell me, let me see, I think it was in episode 5 or episode 6 of Boxing for Breakfast. I had somebody tell me, Jay, you have to understand that there's people who started late too and they became champions. So Jake Paul could become a world champion. You only say that because you don't know the factors that are in play for that to happen. Yes, you could become a world champion late. That can happen. It's true. Why Jake Paul is not going to become a world champion late? Let me explain it, my peoples. Take a look at the guys who became world champions after turning professional boxers in their 20s. I'll start off with Bernard Hopkins. Bernard Hopkins turned professional boxer in his 20s, right? But if you look at Bernard Hopkins, before he turned professional, a guy who was going to jail, getting locked up in the streets, fighting, he was in great physical shape. He was one of these guys who, before he started getting in trouble, used to play basketball, used to play football, used to be athletic. So that's what I want y'all to understand. Athleticism is something that you cannot teach. I could teach you how to do things, but your level of athleticism, I can't teach it. Like, for example, I could give you different exercises that you can do to jump higher. But once you get to that peak, I can't teach you how to jump higher. You're at your peak. That's it. That's how high you can jump. So there are things that are not under your control. If you, for example, played basketball in junior high school, played football in high school, you've been very athletic. When you get to your 20s, if you turn pro, you can become a world champion because you're already bringing that athleticism with you. So now your main focus as a fighter is the technical aspect. Now you have to, learn how you're supposed to stand correctly, where to put your chin. Now you're supposed to learn how to jab correctly, how to use your footwork. But they're able to excel because of their athletic abilities. Look at Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder also started boxing late. But look at his body. This guy was shredded, ripped. So his physical abilities, his athleticism made up for his lack of technical skills. It even made up for his lack of talent. Physical abilities. So people who are Frank the Ghost Martin, he hasn't become a world champion yet. He started late. Look how good he is. Again, athletic. Now let's take a look at Jake Paul. I've been talking about these guys who turned pro late and became champions or became high-level fighters. Take a look at Jake Paul. Take a look at Jake Paul growing up. He was an actor. He was in the Disney Channel. Scrawny kid. Never practiced sports. Never got into fights. On TV. Found fame early as a little kid. Was a child star. And he turned his body around to become a boxer in his 20s. He was, in his whole life, before boxing, he was never big. He was never strong. He was never a gym guy. None of that. So it means boxing was his first venture into athleticism. When you become an athlete in your 20s, there is no way to teach you muscle memory. That's it. You could become good. But that muscle memory that you got from your athleticism, there's no way to teach it. You're cooked. That's why you see that Jake Paul sometimes looks awkward when he throws punches. He doesn't look mechanically sharp. Why? Because that's it. He started too late. He don't have that muscle memory to keep the punches sharp, to keep the movement crisp. He don't have that muscle memory. He resorts to instinct. That's it. Instinct. Kick in. So that's the difference. When you have that athleticism and you start boxing late, you have that muscle memory. So when you resort to instinct, that muscle memory kicks in. When you don't have that muscle memory, like I'll give you an example. Any of us in here, anybody in here who never boxed, right? If you go to a gym and you box for a week with a good trainer, they'll actually put you to where your jab, your straight right hand, and your hook is going to look real good. It's going to look real sharp. So now anybody can see it doing a shadow boxing, right? And on the back, and they be like, damn, that guy looking sharp. But guess what? When you get in a fight, when they put you to spar for the first time, the moment somebody punch you in the mouth, those sharp punches that you was throwing in the back, they're going to disappear. You're going to be like, that's it. No more sharpness. Why? Because you don't have that muscle memory. So that's what it makes it important to either start boxing really young, or if you started late in your 20s, you had to have been an athlete already. If you was an athlete, whether you play basketball, football, baseball, any sport, you could turn pro late in boxing and have success. Why? Because you, as an athlete, your body already has that muscle memory. So you can pick up on things quicker. And once you pick up on them, they stay with you. You start in your 20s, like I told you, you'll look real nice in the gym. The moment somebody punch you in the nose, you're over here talking about West does a windmill season. Octopus wildin'. So it ain't happening. Almontes, who you got? Pujo versus Matias. I got Subriel Matias winning that. I got Alberto Pujo winning that fight. So look, Subriel Matias, first, let me point out, I got a lot of respect for him. He's a great champion. There's a reason why he have a 100% knockout percentage. He can fight. He's an elite level guy. He's a world champion. I just feel like Styles make fights. This is going to be the classic matchup, the boxer versus the puncher. And I just think Alberto Puello is going to use that footwork, that height, that reach advantage, and those angles on Subriel, who's a straightforward guy who likes to apply that pressure, let his hands go on the inside. I think Alberto Puello is going to do a real good job of keeping that distance and putting hands on Subriel Matias as he's trying to close the gap. And ultimately, I see him winning by unanimous decision. But it's a good fight. It's a competitive fight. Brian Romero, you know Matias is Dominican too. No, he's Puerto Rican, bro. I don't know if he got Dominican family, Dominican relatives, but he himself is Puerto Rican. If I'm not mistaken, his pops and his moms is Dominican. That's a tough fight, bro. That's a tough fight. I know that Subriel can change the outcome of a fight with one punch. One punch and you're done. You're cooked. Subriel has that type of power. But you got to respect Alberto Puello, man, because I always try to tell people, not always, but like recently, that's what I've been trying to tell them. Because you know that Alberto Puello is not a big star, right? So because he's not a big star like that, there's fans who don't know him, who never seen him fight. And I've been telling people, bro, Alberto Puello is the guy who beat Gary Antoine Russell. He the only guy to beat Gary Antoine Russell. What does that tell you about him? Does that tell you that he, average Joe? If you beat Gary Antoine Russell, you got to know he a legit champion. Right there, that tells you. Brian Romero. No, he's Dominican to his father's is Dominican. That's why. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I thought both his parents was Puerto Rican. John Parham, Jay Smith. I was thinking I feel someone made a call to Dev and Brian team and told them that first encounter was going to cut it. Things don't turn like that in 30 minutes. Honestly, this is what I believe. Because you know a lot of times these face-off, these things, they're set up. And they're even scripted. We've seen a guy telling Ryan Garcia what to say. Say this, say this, say this. We see, or Devin. We've seen a guard telling Devin what to say. So we know they set these things up. These things can be scripted. But my whole thing is, if you're gonna sell the fight, get together, argue, shove each other around a little bit, yo, make sure the security guy knows his role in this whole thing. Your role is to stand there, cross your arms, stand there, and that's it. Don't intervene. Because I'm going to tell you, look, it's a very simple logic. Devin's security, he handled the situation like Brian Norman Jr. was just a fan. Like that was a fan there, being annoying. Like that was a heckler. Bro, that's the world champion who's already under contract to fight Devin Haney. How do you disrespect him like that? So they have to teach that dude. If they don't fire him, they at least have to teach him, bro, you cannot interact with the fighters who are doing face-off, guys who already agreed to fight. You cannot interact with them the same way that you interact with fans or with hecklers or with whoever. Come on now. That's crazy. That was crazy. West does it. Fighters have egos. Hard to let a guy stand in your face when you know how to fight. And the thing is, if you look at the video, it's just Devin Haney and Brian Norman Jr. in each other's face and touching each other's chest and pointing at each other. Let the fighters sell the fight. Let them do what they do. Why, as a security, are you intervening and grabbing this guy by the shirt? What is you doing? First of all, Brian Norman Jr. could have knocked him out with one shot. Boom! Slapped him. Thankfully, Norman Jr. is a very grounded young man. And he handled it, you know, the best he could. You know, shoved the guy, pull him off of him, but didn't really do nothing crazy. Ricardo Mayer, that security looking for clout. That's what I said earlier, man. You a non-playable character trying to be one of the stars of the movie. You not, bro. Stand by the side right there. What do you know? That's all he had to do. Just stand right there and let them do what they're doing. He didn't see, the security guard didn't see nobody else doing anything. Why he had to do that? I don't know, man. He wanted attention. That's what it looked like to me. West does the security was wild one, that one. he wilding. That's why I say fire him or at least pull him aside and help him understand the difference between interacting with fans and interacting with other fighters. There's a difference. Don't treat a fighter, a world championship caliber fighter, like he's a fan. West Dustin Security was wild on that one. John Parham just seems strange, but hey, I don't know if even that was a setup. Because even that could have been a setup. But you just never know, right? Ben Sanders, security guard Tank, got tossed by a 147-pounder. John Parham, security dude, don't look familiar to me. Nah. I watched the video a bunch of times trying to see the guy's face. Like, who is this? It could, man, look, that could be some actor. We don't know. Yo, John, do you remember when there was a security guy telling Devin what to say when him and Ryan was doing a face-off? And the guy was like, say this. And they caught him. But now it wasn't this same guy. It was a different guy because the other guy was like a stronger, like a heavy-set guy. This is another one. Hash Bash, Norman Jr. was being a professional, but any team don't have it together. Yeah, I appreciate Brian Norman Jr. I appreciate the way that he handled himself. Very respectful young man. They asked him after the scuffle. He was like, I don't know what that was about. I'm a respectful person. We're not about all that. We went over there to shake their hands and to talk a little bit. And they just started acting bringing that energy. I hope they keep that energy because I'm going to still sleep him. Told Devin he was going to sleep him in his face. Ben Sanders, his name is Tank. Ricardo Maya, I'm surprised Haney looked bigger than Brian Norman Jr. Yeah, but you got to remember, they both wearing layers of stuff. So Haney's a little bit taller, but he doesn't look bigger. It's just what he's wearing. John Parham, yeah, and it was a different guy, just like the carnival situation. It's almost like he keeps switching out goons. John Parham, JR loved it. He was smiling the whole time. Brian Romero, is Haney loses back to Norman? What do you think happened to Devin's career? If he loses bad to Brian Norman, I think he should consider moving back down to 140. Look. That's a reasonable question to ask. I could tell you right now, Devin is not going to lose bad to Brian Norman. It's going to be a competitive fight. Now, if Brian Norman catches him early with a big shot, yes, he could knock him out early. It can happen. And he could lose ugly too. But I don't see it happening that way. He's going to lose. If he loses, he's going to lose in a competitive fight. And nothing is going to happen. His career is still going to be good. That's going to be the first loss of his career. Taking the first loss of your career to a guy of Brian Norman Jr.'s caliber, it's not going to say nothing bad about you. It's just going to say that he's that good of a fighter, that he beat you. Hash Bass, Haney is big. He should be fighting at 154. Tank is big. Tank should be fighting at 154. And look at him at 135. At least Devin moved up multiple divisions. John Parham, not too much in my opinion, but probably go down a weight class. Yeah, that's what I think. I think if he get destroyed, like it looks like he definitely can't handle it up here, go back to 140. Go back to 140 and keep doing your thing over there. My peoples, I'm about to end this live, but before I do, as always, I want to give a shout out to everybody who tuned in. Ricardo Maya, Donald Barry, John Parham, the biggest Shakur Stevenson hater in the planet, John Parham in the building, Brian Romero, Ricardo Maya, Ben Sanders, West Does It. Who else showed up? Everybody who showed up, Ernest Morales, everybody who showed up, my peoples. I appreciate you tuning in. Y'all already know what it is, man. Ricardo Maya, salute, my brother. Boxing for breakfast. This is where you get your healthy dosage of sweet science early in the morning. And my peoples, don't forget to check out the first 2 episodes are already up. You got to check it out. Uncut with Jay Smith. Don't miss it, my peoples. Uncut with Jay Smith is where you're going to see me talking. No edits. No nothing. Just me telling you what I need to tell you about these different boxing subjects. So check out Uncut with Jay Smith. And yo, I'm going to see y'all tomorrow early in the morning for the next episode of Boxing for Breakfast. My peoples, I'm out of here. Bam. Salute to our old friend Dante. I'm going to call him the most reasonable racist that we've seen on this channel. I'm out of here, my peoples. Bam.